Trauma recovery. Toxic recovery. Trauma recovery. Toxic recovery. Toxic recovery. Toxic recovery. Trauma recovery. Toxic recovery. Toxic recovery. Trauma recovery. Toxic recovery. Toxic recovery. Toxic recovery. Trauma recovery. Toxic recovery. Toxic recovery. Trauma recovery. Toxic recovery. Trauma recovery. Toxic recovery. Toxic recovery. Toxic recovery. Toxic recovery. Toxic recovery. Trauma recovery. Toxic recovery. Toxic recovery, yeah. Trauma recovery, yeah. Toxic recovery, yeah. Trauma recovery, yeah. Toxic recovery, yeah. Yeah. I'm sick of abusive, narcissistic relationships. Sick of emotional trips. Sick of the lies that roll off your lips. Play me like some type of script. Gaslight me to keep me in grips. Time to cut ties and quit with the snip. Ready to get on the path. Toxic recovery. Trauma recovery, yeah. Toxic recovery, yeah. Trauma recovery, yeah. Toxic recovery, yeah. You said it's love and all the above, but you wanna suffer, yeah. Trauma recovery, yeah. Toxic recovery, yeah. Trauma recovery, yeah. Trauma recovery, yeah. Trauma recovery, yeah. Trauma recovery, yeah. You said it was love and all the above, but you wanna suffer. Trauma recovery, yeah. Trauma recovery. Toxic recovery. Trauma recovery. Toxic recovery. Toxic recovery. Toxic recovery. Yeah.
Disclaimer. This video is for educational and entertainment purposes only, and I often refer to toxic narcissists and general abusers as delusional, crazy, and mentally unstable. A, because if anyone should be described as this, it's these types, and B, because when we're in these toxic narcissistic or generally abusive dynamics, we often give their behavior far too much respect, which keeps us in the cycle for longer. It is my hope that my mocking of their behavior encourages you to take that respect away. Now, if you've been diagnosed with a general mental health condition, please know that at no point am I mocking or talking about you. I consider that to be a separate issue that I take very seriously. And with that being said, let's get into it. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about, we're going to be talking about a load of things. Let me turn this off because I've got, the internet connection should be great. We're going to be talking about Teyana Taylor and Iman Shumpert and their marriage and the red flags that came up for me when I was watching her live video. And also Blake Lively and the Justin Baldoni case of the updates and court of public opinion and all the things. We're going to have a little catch up around that. I know I said that I would talk about Blueface and his triangulation. We will talk about that. That's scheduled for next week now. I did not have time in the week to do it, so we will talk about it next week, okay? Along with Jay-Z and a few other things. So today we're talking about this. Let's start with Teyana Taylor. Let's get into it, guys. Guys, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And of course, let me know your thoughts in the comment section as we talk about this. Okay, so Teyana Taylor and the red flags of her marriage with Iman Shumpert, because there's so many things. Now, this relationship is proof that just because you get married doesn't mean that your relationship isn't toxic, because this is, in my opinion, or was a very toxic relationship. Let's start off with the open marriage, because apparently she opened up the marriage. I didn't even know that any of this happened until after I decided to talk about it. But let's listen to a video where she talks about the situation and kind of get a rundown, the context at which she announces this. What's this on my lap? Oh my gosh. Okay, let's get into the context of what was going on at the time when she announced this. Because for me, when a woman starts talking about opening up the relationship, to me, I think it is my humble opinion that this is a lot of the time orchestrated by the guy, right? Can a woman want an open relationship? Yes, of course she can. Of course she can. But if you get into a relationship and it's monogamous and then suddenly the relationship is then made open by the woman, a lot of the time I believe that it's not because the woman wants it, it's because the guy wants it and she is doing her best to accommodate that guy. 99.9% of the time. That's my view. But listen to the video and tell me what you think. We are fluctuating wildly over here. Okay, let's keep going.
Oh, she's willing. Even just when everybody heard that, like, me and my husband had threesomes before, it was like, oh, she's willing to do that to keep a man. I'm like, nah. That was all me.
So even after Teyana Taylor agreed to open her marriage.
So she says that was all her. Like I said, I don't believe it was. And when you listen to the rest of the stuff that I've got here, I doubt that you will continue to believe that it was, even if you think so right now. Let's listen to what else was said in this video, though.
And have threesomes with Iman Shumpert, they still broke up? Y'all, this is clear proof that if a man doesn't want to be kept, he cannot be kept. Like I mentioned in my previous video back in April.
Let's pause. I don't think that. I mean, I do believe if a man doesn't want to be kept, he can't be kept. But I don't think her and this relationship is an example of that, because I feel like Iman Shumpert is extremely narcissistic and abusive. So we're talking about a completely different kettle of fish. But let's keep going.
2023, there were already allegations that Iman and Teyana were living apart, and apparently they were only keeping face, and Teyana's mom had been helping out a lot since she had become a single mother. These people have apparently been separated for months now, and Teyana took to Instagram and wrote a rather detailed post to provide clarity and address the rumors about their split. She actually confirmed that they had been separated for a while, and she was also quick to say that cheating did not play a part in the breakup. She wrote on
Well, that, to be honest, cheating did not play a part in the breakup. Really? Are you sure? Or did you just reframe cheating as not cheating because you were in an open relationship? Do you know what I mean? Like, now we don't call it cheating because we both knew about it, type thing. You let me know your thoughts in the comments, but that's what came up for me. It's like, really? Was it not? Or did you just reframe it?
Instagram. In all fairness, Iman and I are separated and have been for a while. To be 1000% clear, infidelity ain't one of the reasons for our departure. We are still the best of friends, great business partners, and are one hell of a team when it comes to co-parenting our two beautiful children. Most importantly, we are family, and in the 10 years together, 7 years married, we ain't ever played with or about that. Teyana just wanted to keep followers out of the group chat, which is the reason they have been able to successfully and peacefully separate without all of the outside noise. She said that the only reason she was even sharing that part of the chat was because the narratives were getting a little out of hand and were unfair to all parties involved. Separations are never easy, but trust, everyone is having a field day with how Teyana opened her marriage and even participated in threesomes with Iman, and in the end, she still couldn't keep the man. For those who've been following, rumors about Teyana and Iman engaging in threesomes started in 2018 when Teyana released the song Three-Way. She seemed to be detailing her experiences with Iman when she sang, "For my baby, I do some crazy things, yeah. So whatever he want, he can get that. Cause two heads are better than one. Three-way, I couldn't wait to have with you." Teyana
but then in the interview, she's saying it was all her idea. Right? So in her lyrics, she's saying she's doing it for him because everything, whatever he wants, he gets. But then in the interview, and I don't know whether it was shown up very clearly in that interview because it was very short. It was a very short clip. But in an interview that she did there, same interview, but a longer clip, she was basically saying, everyone thinks it was him, but it was me. I wanted it. I think it was a cover-up for a deep manipulation. I mean, maybe she believed. No, I don't even believe, because I was going to say maybe she believed that she was the one instigating it. But if we go with her lyrics, I don't even believe that she believed it, right? I think she was just catering to him. Let's keep going.
Eventually confirmed that they engaged in three-ways with Iman when a follower told her she had no respect for herself. And she responded by saying that just because she and Iman enjoyed having another woman from time to time in their bed didn't mean that she had no respect for herself. She also told Jidenna during a Bumble conversation that she is the one who introduced the threesomes in their marriage.
Even just when everybody heard that, like, me and my husband had threesomes before, it was like, oh, she's willing to do that to keep a man. I'm like,
nah.
That was all me.
In addition, when Teyana was asked about busting down girls with Iman, she said that they do it on special days, like anniversaries and vacations.
I think that's the mix-up. You know what I'm saying? People hear it and think that is like a thing where it's like every day we just taking down. Like, that's not that. It just be those times where, like, we just, like, if we on vacation, like our anniversary, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just...
Now,
that's weird. I think that's weird. Why would you bring another woman or another person into your union on your anniversary? That's supposed to be for you. So that is, again, yeah, red flag. Red flag. And like I said, as the details are revealed for you about their relationship, when she kind of comes out and shares more details, you'll see what I mean. Like, maybe I should have did this bit afterwards, but you'll see what I mean, because special occasions are the things that toxic, narcissistic, and abusive types like to ruin for you, right? Or taint in some way. And what better way to taint the special occasion, such as a anniversary, than to bring another person into that union? You know what I mean? Red flag. Let's keep going.
Why would someone have another person in their bed on days like their anniversary? And Teyana can shout to the whole universe that the marriage didn't end because of infidelity, but receipts don't lie, people. Receipts don't lie. Iman's cheating allegations actually go back to when he married Teyana. In 2016, there was a woman who claimed that she had been messing with Iman for 2 years, which happened to be about the same amount of time he had been with Teyana.
Okay, I didn't even know this until I actually played this, because you know me, I played the start of something and I'm like, oh yeah, that's great. That sounds like something we can discuss. That's going in the pile, right? What now? So hang on. Rewind. So you're trying to tell me that you have initiated an open relationship just because that's what you wanted to do, although actually he'd been cheating the whole time. Come on, girl. No, this is a lie to self. This is a type of lies to self that we do when we're trying to hold on to a relationship that's toxic. Like, he's been cheating the whole time. Obviously, she found out about it, and now she feels like she's not enough. And he's like, maybe he didn't even introduce it to her. Maybe she introduced it to him as a way of trying to overcompensate for the situation whereby he keeps cheating. That's her way of trying to control the situation. You get what I mean? Because I'm thinking this is in no way coming from you if the guy is a notorious cheater and has been cheating on you the whole time. No way did this come from you authentically. And I think this also because there's no record or no discussion around her having an open relationship with Pierre, that's Mufasa. What's his name? Pierre. What's his first name? Aaron Pierre. Yeah, that's it, right? So I had to literally sing the song to remember the name. Sorry, guys. Bear with me. But yeah, in that relationship, there was no talk of her having an open relationship with him. So where did all of that freakiness and stuff, self initiating freakiness go? Where did it go? Let's keep going.
Iman allegedly reached out to the woman on social media and planned to meet up with her in a Denver hotel. When the woman got to the room, Iman's Cleveland Cavalier teammate Kyrie Irving was supposedly there, and the woman said the men requested a threesome, which she was not interested in. Girl, homeboy must have been craving those threesomes from the very beginning. And if it really was Iman's idea all along, I'm gonna be honest, Teyana trying to make everyone believe that she was the one who introduced the threesomes is just embarrassing to say the least. Anyway, the woman also said Kyrie took her phone beforehand so she wouldn't record the incident, and he allegedly threw it at her head when she left the room after refusing to hook up.
Okay. So he has already been one in these threesomes with other people, but she thought she would hold him down and do it for him. This is what happened, in my opinion. From what I can hear, I'm like reading between the lines. This is what happened. She's like, oh, she found out about that. The woman didn't want to do it. She thinks if I do it, then that's going to build some bridge between us, and he's not going to need to go and do those things. That's basically it. And the fact that she said it wasn't about infidelity is obviously something that she, maybe there were rumors about it at the time. I don't know the context of why she made that remark, so let me just not comment on that. Amadal Kuva says, how can people share their husband? I don't get it. Yeah, I think you just have to be that type to do that. Do you know what I mean? To get it. As in, when I say that type, that's no judgment there. I mean, if you want to share your husband, you want to share your husband. If you want to do that, you want to do that. I personally don't go that way, but if that's what people want to do with their lives in the bedroom, that's what they want to do. I have no kind of like thoughts around that. Some people can, some people can't, this is so sad. Yeah, it is. I think for her, I think she had a terrible time in that relationship. And a lot of what she says, let's go back to this. A lot of what she says in her life, when it came down to divorce, was all around her, how she went about protecting him. And there's a lot of stuff that comes out about what I interpret as financial mistreatment. I'm not going to use the word AB, but you know what I mean? Financial mistreatment. And she talks about it. Let's get into that bit. She talks about that. Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe and hit that bell so you get a notification every time I go live, which is every Sunday. Let's keep going. All right. So here's what she's saying.
With my hard-earned money.
I saw this live literally, I think like 10 months ago or something like that. I was going to say a year ago, but I think literally when it came months ago, and I'm going to do a breakdown of this because there's so much here and I didn't get time. So here we are. Sounds like everything was about him or for him. Yeah, but that's how it goes in these toxic dynamics. Everything is about them and for them. Even if you think that you came up with the idea, it was a lot of the time planted. And it sounds really crazy, but a lot of the time it is being you are being covertly manipulated into making the decision that you're making, right? You think you're making it, but you've really only got a few options. Like, even if she introduced the situation, which I don't believe that she did, but even if she did, it would have been based on the two options of, well, he's going to keep cheating, or I'm going to do it for him and maybe he won't keep cheating. Do you know what I mean? That's where her decision would have been made, which isn't a manipulation in itself, right? It's coercion, to be honest. Or, you know, he might leave me, so I better do it because otherwise he's going to keep cheating and embarrassing me in the public eye. So let me just do this thing. And, you know, even if she did volunteer, which again, I don't believe she did. But anyway, she starts talking about it on her live. And someone else picked it up. I saw it on someone else's feed. I didn't actually watch it because I'm not a follower. I don't follow her, but someone else picked it up. So, hi, I'm awake. What do you say before I start this? If the threesome only includes other women, then it's definitely mostly only for the yeah, exactly. But there are rumors that she goes both ways. She's bi. But I think I don't know if that's true. But even if she is bi, why can't it be a man from time to time? Because she's bi, she goes both ways, right? So again, it goes back to what you're saying. Absolutely. If there's only a woman involved, what are we doing? This is a one-way open situation, isn't it? Let's keep going. All right.
I bought my Maybach.
Right. Here she's talking about the fact that I don't want to say social media. His fans are coming out and basically believing the story whereby she's taking him for everything that he's got, right? That was the narrative that was being sent out to the media. Here's her response.
My tour bus with my hard-earned money. I bought my tour bus with my hard-earned money. I bought my Sprinter with my hard-earned money. I bought my Maybach with my hard-earned money. I bought my Maybach after Iman crashed my Rolls Royce and never replaced it.
Pause right there. Problem. That right there is a problem. This is an indication of financial mistreatment, financial abuse, you know, whereby they spend your money. Now, in this video, I cut out this bit, but in this video, she also talks about how she was making more money than he was. And you know how I feel about that. The guy is never okay with the woman making more money than him. It's never going to be okay. All right. We think it should be, but it's never going to be okay. So stuff like this is going to start coming up. Not to say that this is the reason for it, because I feel like he's toxic anyway. I mean, the red flag, number one being him being an athlete. And you're like, what does athlete have to do with it? If you haven't been following me for a while, you won't know. But it's of the top 10 occupations of an abusive man, basically. Athlete, basketball player, all of that. I'm not saying that every single person who is an athlete and a basketball player is abusive. I'm not saying that. But all I'm saying is you go a little bit more carefully when you're dealing with this type. Okay, pay a bit more attention when you're dealing with this type because it's of the top 10.
Also bought. Oh, and that $1 million, y'all claiming that 7-figure, 8-figure, it was a one-time fee of $1 million in damages.
Listen to what she said. She said she got $1 million in damages. Damages that he caused to her things or her property or something that ended up costing her money. $1 million. So it wasn't just the car he crashed. £1 million in damages. Basically, that was my money that he cost me. And that was all going on in this apparently good relationship that was just open and honest. Are we kidding right now? Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments. But this, as soon as I heard this, I was like, yeah, we got to do a video breaking this down. Because we got financial abuse in the first opening. In the opening of her thing. Right here. This is what we're talking about. This is what it looks like, guys. It happens amongst the rich. It happens amongst the poor. It happens amongst people who are women who are wealthy. It happens with women who are not. It doesn't matter. A toxic, narcissistic, and abusive man is going to find a way, if that's the way in which he wants to do it, to find a way to abuse you. That is it. Financially, that is. But there's rarely only one method, right? There's rarely only one method. Usually, there's always going to be emotional mistreatment going on. Always good. That's the foundation of everything. And then from there, they sprout wings and start getting in the financial mistreatment, this sexual mistreatment, whichever way it goes, they start sprouting out, right? Let's keep going anyway. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Let's keep going.
When Iman crashed the $400,000 Rolls Royce and Iman did whatever other stuff he did, that was the things he had to pay me back. Iman left me with a whole lot of shit.
Bingo. Iman left her with a whole lot of, she said, ish, it's called debts. I.e. financial mistreatment. Let's hear what I'm Awake has to say. What's going on here? We're having trouble streaming LinkedIn. This may be an issue with LinkedIn's. Oh my gosh, come on, not today. I'm sorry, guys. I'm reading this notification flash up. Well, we're gonna have to forget about that because we're just gonna keep moving. Okay. I suspect she would. Hang on. I'm not concentrating. Let's get rid of this. Why is that not hide and then put back up? No, it's still not showing, right? I don't know. I suspect she would do it all again because she's so male-centered. Having a piece of man is better than having no man. Now, I'm not going to disagree with you. In order for you to be in this kind of toxic dynamic, you have to be male-centered, i.e. codependent. You have to be. They coach you into being codependent so that you can maintain that relationship. How long was she in that relationship for? She's going to be codependent. Male-centered, as you call it, right? It's going to be. That comes with the territory of being in this dynamic. Let's keep going. So right there, we got the financial stuff. Now let's talk about the post-separation harassment that she talks about. But she doesn't actually explicitly talk about it. But if you know, you know. Listen to what she says.
And one thing that y'all can't ever take away from me is how much I love that man and how much I've held him down and how solid I've been to him. I never tried to send Iman to jail. I'm still not trying to send Iman to jail. However, I have to file a motion to get him to leave me alone so we can both go and live our life in peace.
Rewind. She has to file a motion to get him to leave her alone. So she had to go to the legal system to file a motion to get him to leave her alone. Are you picking up what she's putting down? This is post-separation harassment. This is the type of thing that happens in any kind of, we're going to say narcissistic or generally abusive dynamic. Toxic, okay, I'll give it that. I'll throw them all in, right? With that's the type of thing. That's confirmation that you're in a toxic dynamic. When they, not always, sometimes they do leave you alone, but a lot of the time they don't. A lot of the time they don't leave you alone. Guys, give this video a thumbs up if you like it. I don't know what's wrong with this. Let's keep going. And then we have the smear campaign. This is what she's talking about all the way through. It's layered without, because she's here making this video in order to respond to the stuff that's going out in the media, negative stuff that's going out in the media about her that is incorrect and not true. That is why she's doing this video in the first place. So the foundation of this video is a smear campaign. Let's listen to what she says.
After the divorce, he went and did skits. He went and did skits, creating a narrative about the da-da-da. Me and that lady took you for all you got, da-da-da. He went and did skits. He's been throwing shots at me the whole time through his music. He's doing skits. Like, at the end of the day, y'all didn't see me do none of that. I've done nothing but work my ass off and mind my business. The other fake rumor came out and it looked like I was taking the man for all he got. When I reached out to my ex-husband and I told him that I didn't feel safe, why didn't you and your people clear it up then? Because you looking like the victim brings you more of whatever you feel like makes you feel better. And that's not cool. Making you like a villain for what? This shit is a year old. Show me the proof where I ever said anything foul about Iman publicly, anything foul about Iman to y'all. I've done nothing but protect this man. I can't control what's in our divorce documents. At the end of the day, when you have to get divorced and you're getting divorced, you have to speak your truth. I spoke my truth just like Iman. The shit only got put out because Iman leaked the divorce documents from Jump Street. Our divorce was private. Our proceedings was private. Everything was private for a whole year. Y'all didn't even know. I've been protecting and fighting for Iman our whole relationship, our whole marriage, our whole everything. And that was being flipped on me. That's insane. And I don't want to feel, I'm about to keep talking about this, and I also don't want to feel like I'm walking on eggshells. Like, oh my God, I have a movie coming out. That means a fake rumor's about to come out. Another thing about the divorce is about to come out. Okay, I have this movie coming out. Oh God, and we're just waiting for something to, it's too much. Oh, every time I got something going on, there's another rumor about this divorce that's sealed coming out, bro. It could only be coming from two places. And it's either me or him.
Do you get what she's saying? So basically what she's saying in this is that she's tried to make the divorce private, even though there's stuff in there, just literally to protect him. Not to protect her, to protect him. And he has not only leaked the stuff, but he's put a spin on it to make her look bad. Right? So instead of coming out and saying, oh, you know, I've had to pay £1 million in damages because I've just been literally taking the mick, instead of saying that, he's basically been like, oh, she's taking me for millions and putting that out into the system. Right? So he's putting a spin. He's putting a spin on the narrative. Sounds exhausting. Yes, it is exhausting. It always is exhausting when you're dealing with these types. It is designed to be exhausting. You should pay for leaving them in any shape or form. That is it. That's what it is. Let's keep going.
I'm not going to allow you to take the credit for everything that I paid for. I remember the day it came out of my account. I remember the day I was like, damn, bitch, that's a lot of money. I remember all of that. I worked my ass off, and I was able to get myself all of these luxury things, and I was able to walk away with all of the luxury things that I paid for, and so was Iman. I didn't snatch back no gifts from him. I didn't do none of that. I can't control what he did on his side. But be clear, all of this was private until he leaked this divorce, before he leaked this whole divorce. I filed in initials to keep me, him, and the kids safe and out of the public's eye.
All right, I got it.
Even when he filed the most.
Right, so she tried her best to keep it private, and he's doing his best to use the fact. He's literally using the fact that she's trying to keep it private against her. He's leaking stuff. He's reframing stuff, knowing that she's still not going to come out and really say anything. But now the what is it? The camel's back, broken camel. You get the saying. I can't put it together right now. Let's keep going. Straw that broke the camel's back. There we go.
Issues to keep me, him, and the kids safe and out of the public's eye.
Right. Now, here she talks like specifically about how she has defended this man. Smear campaigns, we know, if you've been following, you know, it comes with the territory. They are going to do whatever they can to spin the narrative when you leave the situation. 110%. And it doesn't really matter. They'll take the truth and turn it into a lie. They'll tell half truths. They'll tell whole lies. Whatever way they got to swing it, they're going to swing it to make themselves look good and make you look bad. Let's keep going.
Even when he filed the motion to make our names public to the world, I literally went on and I blamed TMZ. I was like, y'all sitting there and y'all boom, 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 mind y'all business, stay out of the group chat. I could have easily said, you know what, it's really unfortunate that my ex-husband would make our divorce public. I could have said that. And nipped us in the butt a long time.
So basically here she's just like, I knew that it was him releasing the stuff. But instead of me coming out and saying it's him and he's doing X, Y, and Z to me, I'm still covering for him. I'm still doing my best to keep everything under wraps. Which is what we do. In these toxic, narcissistic, and abusive dynamics, we defend to the very end, and that's part of the issue. Now, this happens because we're trauma bonded. We feel like it's our duty. When you're trauma bonded, you feel like it's your duty to protect them, even though they're mistreating you. You feel like it's part of and this is why I'm always saying, do not get loyalty mixed up with being a target, because don't get them mixed up. Because a lot of these toxics will kind of like celebrate you being loyal and then twist it so that they're mistreating you and you're still being loyal because you feel like you're being a loyal girlfriend. That's not it. If you are being loyal with that person and they are mistreating you, you are now being abused, and that's it. Point blank period. That's it. You don't give loyalty to that. If you are being loyal and that person is mistreating you, you have to retract all of that loyalty. Even if you are a loyal character. I know some of you are like, oh, well, I'm just a loyal person. And that is a good trait, but don't allow that trait to be taken and used against you. Because a lot of these toxics will do that. Be like, I love her. I love the fact that she's loyal. I'm going to use it against her. 110%. They'll love the fact that you're loyal and then turn around and use it against you. So you have to be the one to be like, hang on, here I am being loyal, and here you are literally taking the meg. So we're going to have to just, and it's not a case of you matching energy and cheating and doing all of that stuff. No, that's not what I'm saying. Do not do that. Please, please, please. You never win that fight. Don't do that. All you do is lose yourself in trying to fight that battle that you're not going to win anyway. What I would suggest you do in that circumstance is remove yourself. If you're not in a situation where you can act and behave as your most authentic self, if you're not in a relationship where you can do that, including be loyal, then you need to remove yourself from that relationship. That's it. You don't have to then be disloyal in order to prove a point and then be out here cheating and doing all of that. No, don't do that. Just remove yourself from the situation. Let's keep going.
Ago, I did not. What scrutiny has he been in? How? It's no way to be under scrutiny if every single time he's under scrutiny, I'm coming behind him and protecting him and uplifting him and saving him. But when I'm going under public scrutiny and threats by grown-ass men, when I came to Iman and told him that I didn't feel safe, nothing else should have mattered. Why are we even on this phone arguing? I'm coming to you saying, yo, baby daddy, I don't feel safe. Like, niggas are talking about they gonna off me if I boom, boom, boom. I'm telling you, I don't feel safe. Yeah, well, back in 2023, when I did, What are we talking about?
It's so true.
What are we talking about? I've done nothing but protect him.
I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at her. It's just when she goes, it just makes me because it's true. It's just like, what is actually happening? Like, I've been loyal to you in X, Y, and Z way. And the moment that I need that back, you're not giving it. And that's the type of thing they do. That's another red flag. If you are giving something consistently, and then the moment you expect it back, you're not getting it. This is the type of double standards that they maintain so that they can keep the power in balance. They're not going to they will purposely not give it back to you just in order to hurt you in that moment. Because they know it will hurt you because you've gone out and done everything and they've spoken as though they would do the same for you. But then when push comes to shove, they're not doing it. Of course, it causes confliction. Of course, it causes conflict. It's going to do all the things and they love it. That's part of the reason why they do it. Let's keep going.
The whole way through. And the crazy part about it is even through all this, and as in closing, through all of this, Iman is still my family. I have nothing but love for Iman. But it is hurtful that he has not once stood up for me. He hasn't once stood up for me this whole divorce process. Like, he hasn't stood up.
Like I said, very normal. Again, so we've got him, financial mistreatment. We've got the smear campaign. We've got him, what was the other thing? Him, oh gosh, what was that? I'm going to have to go back. I can't even remember. Smear campaign. Oh gosh, I've gone back and it's done nothing. We've got the smear campaign.
This whole divorce process, like, he hasn't stood up.
Right, we've got the smear campaign. We've got him, her basically defending him and the double standards, another red flag. We've got him basically, oh gosh, I can't even remember all the bits, but there are a lot of things in there whereby he has used different tactics in order to mistreat her. And now we're going into the legal system. He's using the legal system to get a rise out of her. Leaking information. Let's hear what she says.
And I had to let the judge know, like, yo, this just got to stop. And at the end of the day, you still violating court orders. We're not allowed to even discuss who got what or what. You leaking information that have our private addresses on it, that have our kids' full names and where they go to school. That's too much. And then when I'm addressing him about it, it turns into an argument. So it's only showing that one person is mad in this situation.
Okay, right. So he's releasing personal information that puts her at threat. She goes to him to say, hey, I'm not feeling safe in this situation because people were, giving her death threats and stuff like that because she was leaving a man. And, these sports people and fans get a little bit crazy, right? So they're doing that. She's going to a man to say, hey, can you say something? Can you do something to kind of like stop them from making these threats? Because, you never know which one of these people is going to kind of go through with it, right? And he basically doesn't. And that's a life or death situation. She rightfully is very hurt by that. But now she's saying how, he's violating court orders. In this same section, she also talks about how she has to bear the brunt and the cost of these legal things that he's not kind of abiding by and stuff like that. So again, that's another bit of financial mistreatment there. Also, it's all intertwined, right? Like I said, they very rarely only use one method and wish to mistreat you. And you can see it very clearly in this situation. Let's keep going.
I sat in court and told them people that's like family to me. He said, she'll never be family to me.
So, and then again, he's using social media all the time. He's feeding the social media fake information. He's using social media all the time, but let's keep going. This is very common amongst famous people to use social media against you, to put you in a box, to get you defending yourself and all of the stuff. But let's hear what she says.
Iman know that for social media, my social media anxiety is through the roof. Y'all know I don't do this. Y'all barely see me live. Like, y'all know I'm shy as fuck. Like, I barely like red carpets. Like, y'all already know this social media shit gives me anxiety. So with Iman knowing that, he knows that pushes my buttons. Nobody knows this man better than I do. Iman gets a kick out of this. What's happening right now? Like, me being in this state, me having to even do this, he knows that this blows my mind. I don't like this. I don't like this. And he knew that I would lead our divorce with my heart. That's what he banked on. He banked on my heart. And
yeah, they always do. They pick people with good hearts and they bank on you being that good-hearted person so they can continue to mistreat you in whatever way they feel. They bank on you being that loyal person. They bank on you being that quiet person. That is why you've got to be very selective about not even who you give that to. Yeah, who you give that to, yeah, one, but also remaining in situations where that is being abused, right? your loyalty is being mistreated, like you're being taken for granted. You have to be very selective about that, because they will take your kindness for absolute and make it your weakness. So if you're a kind person, if you're a loyal person, if you're a dedicated person, you got to be very selective about your partner. Let's keep going.
That's where I went wrong. I went wrong by still, calling him my family and still moving with grace and still saving him and still boom, 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 and boom, 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 boom. And he ain't do anything.
Yeah, you got to get the scissors. The kinder you are, the more loyal you are, you got to get the scissors and protect yourself, because they're not going to protect you.
None of that was returned. None of that was reciprocated. It's awfully strange how every single time something come out about me, it come out on the same blog. It starts off little, and then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. I have the proof that you're paying people to post this stuff. Like, come on. Like, this is just...
So, let's put this all together. He smashed up her things to the sum of 1 million. Okay? He's smearing her name, putting fake information out there in social media to stress her out. He doesn't defend her even when it's life-threatening. He just leaves her to it. This is a discard of discards. Right? And I'm sure in that relationship, he was all about loyalty and family. He was preaching all of this stuff. So it's probably very heartbreaking for her to be left doing that by herself, right? She's like, still like, we're family. This comes first. We need to stick together. And he's like, whatever. That's going to be very hurtful for her, especially as she's been doing things in that relationship for however long they were married. Somebody tell me in the comments. I think it was many, many years, right? I think it was a long time. Tell me in the comments, confirm. But like however long they were married, for her to be doing things and being like, it's the two of us come first, it's family first and all of that. For him to just literally throw that in her face and be like, I don't care if one of the fans comes about and, I don't actually care. I'm not even going to say a word to try and resolve that situation. Despite the fact that she's come out and defended him publicly many times, even when he has been in the wrong. And protected him many times.
It's a lot. It's a lot, and I'm done with it.
Guys, hearing this, what do you think? I think their marriage had always been toxic. This is from what I'm seeing here. I'm like, the divorce, how it ends. A lot of people say, oh, well, it was just a nasty divorce. But when you listen to the details, I'm like, it was a nasty marriage. That was a nasty marriage. And that's why when people give advice about, oh, I'm married, so I know better than you. What kind of marriage do you have, though, girl? We need to have a conversation about that, because not all marriages are good marriages. Super toxic. Exactly. Super toxic. I'm with you on that. This is what I thought. I'm like, we need to talk about this. Not family, complete discard. Just disregarded everything that she's done for him as well. Because in that video, which I cut out because it was just getting a bit too long, she was also talking about how when he finished his basketball career, or when whatever, I don't know how that ended, details. When that happened, she was there pushing him to go into acting, the music field, and all the bits. She's the one that created all of that for him. Yet he spun the narrative like she was living off him and, all of that stuff. Like, what are we doing? So that people would come after her for basically milking a black man, within the black community. They're very sensitive about things like that. So this is what he was doing as his smear, knowing that behind the scenes, she was doing the complete opposite. And that's why he did that smear, because he knew that it was a complete opposite, which would cause her so much pain, obviously, for doing the right thing and still being accused of doing the wrong thing. But this is how they do. This is how these toxics do. This is the type of thing that they do. Guys, if you've been there, please validate in the comments. Please confirm in the comments. This is the type of thing that they do. Whatever you pride yourself on is what they will smear you over. to get that reaction from you, to get you still, and they smear you to keep you on the hook, because it's a very hard thing to kind of like remove yourself from when you are being character assassinated in the worst way. That is actually against all your complete value system. It's very hurtful and it's very bad, but that's how they get to you. And you can go round and round in that loop defending yourself for years. And that's what they want. They want you connected and defending yourself because they want to keep control of the situation. That's why they do the smear campaign, to keep you on the hook, to maintain the control to some degree. Because technically, unless you leave it unresolved, you can't leave until they let you go. Right? Guys, give this video a thumbs up. Let me know your points. And what I mean by let you go is until they clear up the story and tell everyone that it's wrong and all of that. Until they do that, you're in the fight defending yourself. That's what they want. So we have to be better. We got to be smarter than that. And we have to unhook ourselves from the situation, regardless of what they're saying. Regardless of who's listening, regardless of everything. When you got a smear campaign like this, you have to unhook yourself from the complete process. If friends and family are listening, whatever, you have to remove yourself from them too. So that you can get on with your life and rebuild your life, rather than being distracted by defending yourself from a load of things that they're saying in order to maintain the control. Yes, it's all about power. Yeah, it's always about power. It's never about you. It's never about love. It's all about power and control. Always. Always about power and control. So in conclusion, I think Teyana Taylor's marriage was at the very least emotionally abusive. But, you know, I said that. But then when we look at all the details, there's financial abuse in there as well. Definitely. We don't know the details of how it got to an open relationship, so I won't speculate on that. But definitely emotionally and psychologically abusive, for sure. Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that bell so you get a notification every time I upload a live. And please get involved, learn. Psychoeducation for the everyday woman. We have it here at the Living Warrior Academy, which is a school for empowerment and recovery for women, right? This is where we teach you all about the dynamics of a toxic, narcissistic, and abusive dynamic. Obviously, I do my best to talk about it here, and I use celebrities as examples, but we can't cover all things. Here, we cover all the foundation of all things. You get the 47 most common red flags of a toxic dynamic. You get like deep dives into each one of those red flags and the tactics they use. You get deep dives into trauma symptoms that a lot of us would have experienced in our lives, if not from a toxic, narcissistic, or abusive dynamic, from poor childhood experiences, from whatever. All of these things often bring about trauma symptoms, anxiety, depression, low self-esteem, all kinds of things, right? Critical inner voice, all of the stuff, all of the things, right? So we talk about all of that. We talk about trauma responses. Those trauma responses is what keep us vulnerable to toxic relationships moving forward. So just because you got out of one relationship doesn't mean that you've broken the cycle of going into another one with a new person. Ever heard of dating the same? What is the saying? I'm ruining more of the sayings. Same guy, different face. That sort of thing. If you're going through that loop, you want to get into the training to learn why you are going through that loop. And it's because of these trauma responses a lot of the time, right? It's good to know how they are acting in these situations, but it's also good to know how we are responding to certain situations. And that's not about victim blaming, it's about victim awareness, target awareness. We've got to have an awareness of how we are maneuvering through life so we can better manage our responses and stuff like that, obviously through therapeutic techniques and stuff like that. But anyway, point is, get the free training. It's free. It's there. Every woman needs to know it. whether you're in a relationship, whether you're married, whether you're single, whether you're about to date, whatever situation you're in, you need to know, you need this information. Let's keep going. Now we're going to talk about the Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni case. We're going to talk about the updates concerning this case, because there have been a lot of updates. And am I surprised with the updates? Not at all. Not even slightly. I did a live I say years ago, I don't even think it's been that long, but I did a live a long time ago saying my points about the Blake Lively and Baldoni situation. I called him Mr. Baloney because I think he's full of it. Full of it. Start to finish, I think Justin Baldoni is full of it. And I gave my reasons for the lives. I gave my reasons for this during the live that I did right at the beginning of the case when the story broke. I broke down the case. Go check out those lives. I'm going to put the links in the description box of this video so you can go back over what was said and breaking down the stuff around people coming into the trailer and, him saying that she was doing things and her saying that, she's got video footage. Oh, sorry, Baldoni releasing the video footage of them doing a intimate scene and all of the things. We've spoken about it. The contract that Baldoni signed, we've spoken about it all. We've spoken about it all. But I wanted to do an update here because more stuff has come out. We've got more stuff about the case. We've got the Blake Lively and Taylor Swift interactions and then the text messages that have just recently been released. We're going to talk about that. And then we're going to talk about what people are saying about Amber Heard as a result of this, now that time has kind of gone past. If you want to know my view on it, I think, like I said, I think Baldoni is full of it. I think he did what he did. I think he did what she accused him of doing. End of story. But let's just get a rundown of what the accusations are.
With It Ends With Us and all of the lawsuits and okay, so with the reactions to everything going on with It Ends With Us and all of the lawsuits and allegations and all of that, and how many people are on Justin Baldoni's side, I'm starting to feel like people don't actually know what he's being accused of. So let's review. So in December 2024/early 2025, Justin Baldoni filed a lawsuit against Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, and the New York Times for $400 million. In this lawsuit, he alleged that Blake, Ryan, and the New York Times basically worked together to ruin his reputation and his career, and also to obscure the work that he was trying to do to bring domestic violence awareness to the world through the movie It Ends With Us. This lawsuit was filed after Blake had filed a complaint with the California Civil Rights Department alleging that Justin had created a hostile work environment and had crossed boundaries and engaged in sexual harassment.
Key. After she put in the complaint. This is important. After she put in the complaint, he filed this case.
In June of 2025, this lawsuit was dismissed as a judge found that his claims were basically unfounded. He wasn't able to really prove that Blake and Ryan or the New York Times were trying to actively hurt his career, and also that Blake had a right to complain to the California Civil Rights Department if she felt that a hostile work environment was being created. So what specifically did Blake...
Right. Why is it significant? Because a lot of celebrities are using defamation as their defense, their get out of jail free card when they're accused of things like this. Jonathan Majors, Depp, this guy. I can't remember who else. Someone else did it as well. I feel like Keke Palmer's guy did it too, or tried to do it. It fell on its head. But a lot of these guys are doing this now. You make a complaint, they file a defamation case.
Complain about? How did he sexually harass her? How did he cross boundaries? We would eventually find out that a meeting had taken place during filming in which Blake brought a list of demands of on-set behavior that she found unacceptable and no longer wanted to happen. These demands included no more improvising kissing scenes between Justin Baldoni's character and her character, no more adding additional sexual scenes that her character had to act out, No more showing her nude images of other women. No more making references or jokes about cast and crew members' genitalia. No more talk of Justin's previous pornography addiction. And this one is so weird, but apparently she had to demand that there would be no more inquiries into her weight, because apparently they had been trying to ask Blake's trainer what her weight was looking like how her fitness was going.
Yeah, we spoke about that in the last live as well. Let's keep going.
Other accusations include that Justin was very touchy-feely with the cast and crew, and that when people would kind of make it known that they didn't want to be touched or hugged or whatever, and they would turn away, he would get mad and kind of ice them out and give them the silent treatment. And also multiple people have reported that Justin would repeatedly just barge into Blake's trailer while she was undressed or even breastfeeding at times, even though he had been repeatedly told not to do that. At the meeting, Justin obviously denied engaging in any of that behavior, and for the acts that didn't directly come from him that were more serious, he claimed to not be aware that it was happening. So, basically it wasn't his fault. He didn't know it was going on. Recent evidence has come out that implies that the hostile work environment was felt by many people on set, and that a lot of people were uncomfortable with Justin's behavior and just the overall vibe of the filming environment. Text messages from Jenny Slate, who plays Alyssa in the It Ends With Us movie, were recently revealed, and in them she claims that filming has been disturbing, multiple people on the cast and crew feel this way, and also that she and Blake had both complained about the environment to one of the on-set production executives. Jenny goes on to call Justin a false ally, the biggest clown, and the most intense narcissist, and also states that she is unwilling to engage in any action that will further promote this false image of him being this great feminist ally. So essentially she's calling him out and saying that he uses all of these buzzwords and says all of these right things and hangs around all of the right people in order to hide from the fact that he's actually engaging in a lot of bad behavior behind the scenes.
Which is classic narcissistic behavior. That's what they do. They talk the right talk, and then behind the scenes, they're doing the most egregious things that contradict that talk. Contradicted completely, and we're going to get into that in more detail.
Colleen Hoover, who wrote the book, said in an email on July 14th, 2024, that she was reluctant to go to the movie's premiere and that things were beyond uncomfortable at this point, and that being around Justin would basically just make it worse. Isabella Ferrer, who plays the younger version of Blake Lively's character in the movie, has testified that there were multiple times when Justin Baldoni made her uncomfortable during filming. One instance being after they filmed the scene where her 16-year-old character loses her virginity. Apparently Justin turned to her and said that was hot. And then another time, she overheard him talking to the guy that was playing the younger version of the main love interest in the movie, and Justin was telling him that he wanted the guy to get to know Isabella and winked at him while he said it, and she felt that that was very inappropriate and uncomfortable for him to do as the director of the movie, and that he was implying something, So yeah, those are the main things that Justin Baldoni is being accused of, and like I said, it's honestly just so mind-blowing how many people are on his side looking at those allegations, because they just heard, oh, Blake Lively was mean to him. She's a mean girl. She's Regina George. And they immediately were like, I'm taking his side. Oh, this poor guy. Meanwhile, he was acting like a villain and multiple people were complaining about him. Pop culture is insane. Follow for more.
That's the problem. That's all they do is they spin it. And the one thing that got my eye from the very beginning, before I started looking into the details of the case and the documents and stuff like that, and I stopped looking at documents after a while because they were just overwhelming us with absolute and utter BS, as far as I'm concerned. Overwhelm of absolute and utter BS. And I got the gist in the first 5 minutes. It's like, okay, she says that you are actually harassing and you are talking about her personality as a defense. Already, you might as well just come out and say that you're lying, as far as I'm concerned, because where is your defense against what she said? Why are you filing a case about her being a bad person? I'm not understanding what you're not understanding. How is that a defense? That's like me saying, oh, this person did this to me. And they're like, oh, well, you're not very nice. If you heard that, you would see it for the ridiculousness that it is. But because there's so much rubbish being thrown in between, which is done to confuse you, by the way, it's done to pollute and confuse your brain and have you thinking, well, she did say this, and they want you to get into the nitty-gritty of all the details so that you get lost. That is why he gave you tons and tons of text messages without any context in his so-called evidence. I thought that was absolutely ridiculous. It's like, where are the dates on this? Where's the timeline on this? If you're going to give us evidence, don't just like out of context. Are we kidding? But then I covered this in the last live, so check it out because I go into more detail about why that's so ridiculous. But anyway, let's keep going. So from Jump Street, the way in which they approached it is a dead giveaway. The way in which they came out to defend themselves is a dead giveaway. I've not seen someone defend themselves in this way and them actually be innocent. Never. Right? Let's keep going though. Let's keep going.
Analyzed Blake Lively and this entire case. I'm going to tell you the main findings of the
case.
Since no one in the media is talking about how an expert psychologist analyzed Blake Lively and this entire case, I'm going to tell you the main findings of the case, and it's not what the media is telling you because it's not clickbait worthy.
And also, it's not the narrative that they want to spin. Like, a lot of the time, the perpetrators of these things have the media in their pocket, and they're spinning a narrative. So if it doesn't fit that narrative, you're not going to hear it. And one thing that got me about the Amber Heard situation is the amount of people, experts, who were siding with Johnny Depp. Insane to me. Insane to me. I thought you were an expert. What are we doing? How were we getting to this point where these body language experts are claiming that she's like got these mental health issues? And it was crazy to me. Crazy to me to watch, but very eye-opening in regards to seeing how the media works situations. That's the first time that I was ever exposed to it in that way. So when Blake came out and started saying about the astroturfing that was going on and how people were getting paid to do certain things, it wasn't a shock to me because they'd already released a documentary on Netflix about the Depp situation and how Depp's team had already done that with that case. So it was not a surprise to me, but it coming around again was confirmation once again that actually this guy was full of crap. But let's keep going because don't take my word for it. Let's listen to what all these other people have to say. Let's go.
1. Justin Baldoni engaged in repeated boundary violations and sexually inappropriate conduct towards Blake Lively and many other women while holding multiple positions of power. Specific allegations include sexually explicit comments, discussing his sex life and pornography while on set.
Now, this is key. This is key. For me, this is a classic covert toxics way of doing things, especially the covert like he is, because he's a benevolent covert, right? He's the good guy covert. Right? That is how they're going to do it. They are going to share something. And it's not even about sharing something that's vulnerable. It was important that they knew that he had a porn addiction and he had a perverted way of being. Why was this important? So that they would know that they were being violated when he was making these comments. Do you see what I mean? Like he wants them to know what he's doing. He doesn't want them to be like, oh, that's just him being a bit weird. He doesn't want them to brush it off. He wants them to feel the violation, which is why he shared that he had that addiction. So when he's going, oh, that's hot, and you guys are hearing it like, oh, we only said that it's hot. They're hearing it for what it is because he keeps on doing it. Repeated things. They're asking him not to do it, and he is violating the boundaries that they set and carrying on with that. So now they know that he's doing it on purpose and they are starting to feel violated. Had he had not given them that information, it might have taken them a bit longer to, not to feel uncomfortable, but to realize that he was doing it on purpose, right? He wants them to know that it's on purpose. He doesn't want them to think it's an accident because that kind of takes the sting out of the operation a little bit, right? They don't want you to think they're just bumbling idiots. They want you to know that they are calculated and are doing it on purpose and there's nothing you can do about it. That is key. So him coming around and saying that is part of it. basically saying, hey, don't take it as a joke that I'm doing these things. I want you to, when I come into your caravan and your changing room and you're naked and you ask me to, you basically don't want me to be there and I'm staring at your bazookas. I want you to take it for what it is, me being an absolute pervert. Yeah, I don't want you to mistake it as me just being unaware. Although I'm going to pretend that I'm being unaware, I want you to understand that I'm doing that on purpose. This is how they operate. Let's keep going.
Improvising unconsenting sexual intimacy and referring to female colleagues as sexy and hot after he was asked repeatedly to stop doing it. He altered the script to add nudity and more sex of a more explicit nature that did not align with the book.
Right, key. So put that together. He comes out and tells you just randomly that he's got a porn addiction, and then he's giving you sex scenes to perform that are not part of the script, that are very explicit in nature. He's improvising on his own with things that are inappropriate. You're going to understand, you're going to start picking up what he's putting down very quickly. Right? This is what he wants.
So when concerns were raised, he minimized, he deflected responsibility.
Of course he did.
And then he later participated in a public narrative, portraying himself as the victim. And that is what we call DARVO. Denied.
And that is why I said it is very important the way in which it came around. She made the complaint, he filed the lawsuit. That is DARVO. Deny, attack, reverse, victim, and offender. That is DARVO. Right? Johnny Depp did it in a different way. The Sun newspaper in the UK called him a wife beater, and he dragged them into court. The courts called Amber Heard to kind of confirm certain things, and he took that and denied, attacked, reverse, victim, and offender. She won that case, and he then took that, denied, attacked, reverse, victim, and offender in the United States Court of Law. Let's keep going.
Attack, reverse, victim, offender. You know you're the perpetrator, so you manipulate the situation to look like you're the victim. And then he brought on a legal team who did the same thing. But let's talk about Jamie Heath. Oh, he just had direct sexual boundary violations, like entering Blake's trailer when her breast was fully exposed. Oh, and showing Blake his wife's vagina. It was a birthing scene. Justin Baldoni had said, oh, Blake wants to see it. No, Blake never wanted to see it. She didn't know about it. That was another way that Justin Baldoni was fucking with Blake. Again, deflection, minimization, triangulation. Heath, as a Wayfair executive, should have had HR available.
But Heath's not innocent either, because he's also extra deviant. They were in it together. They were both doing it. So he was an accomplice to the situation. He wasn't just being triangulated unaware. He was willingly part of the triangulation.
To take complaints that were coming in about Justin Baldoni. But how do you make a complaint to the perpetrator when they're the ones in charge and should be the ones receiving the complaint? They didn't implement an HR department. They didn't implement any HR training. In fact, they mocked it. Finally, because no one was listening and Blake Lively got louder and went to Ange Giannetti, she heard all of this. She minimized it, gaslit Blake and everyone else, and said it really wasn't as bad. She goes to her boss saying, this is the letter I want to write to everyone. And her boss says, no, you need to make it a little less severe. You want to just placate these women so that they don't feel totally invalidated, but you want to validate them enough so that they don't get angry and actually find their voice and do something, because we want this movie to come out so we can make some fucking money. So basically everything gets complained about. It keeps going up. People at Sony are taking notes and they're documenting this, but they're not doing anything with it. And those are the complaints that you have seen circulating around. No one wants to piss off Sony.
Guys, let's keep going.
I mean, like Justin Baldoni already lost his. Lively is just a power-hungry monster, and she's gonna lose this case. I mean, like Justin Baldoni already lost his. People fail to realize that this is not a him versus her case. It's really not he said, she said. He said these 10 women say at all levels of production, not only on this movie. Let's go over some of the court documents. We went over the fact that Justin did not own the movie. The final cut was to be determined by Bake Off. It scored an 85 in the blind recruit test screening, at least 7 points higher. You know that Mr. Baldoni's cuts actually only got 66 and 62. Blake scored 84 and 85. And Justin's version, Lily, was way too nice to him, according to the notes that they gave him on that cut, which is available in the court documents. He had Lily tell Ryle it's okay at the end of the movie in the birth scene. He wrote Lily to be too nice to her father, also an ABUSER. There are text messages subpoenaed from Justin Baldoni's team so that they were aware, both Blake and Jenny, actions where he inappropriately called them sexy, as well as the improvised kissing scene and the weight comment. Miss Sloan credited Lively's account. The improvised scenes, intimate scenes that Baldoni had engaged in SA is not what Blake is formally accusing him of. She's only accusing him of SH. SH, a toxic set environment, a smear campaign. This is sworn testimony from Justin Baldoni in his own words to Jenny Slate. Slate walked in. As a director, I was already doing what I was doing, getting the set ready. I looked over to her. She was wearing, I believe, black leather pants, which were designed to, I'm sure, look sexy. And without thinking, I said something to the effect of, oh wow, those pants look sexy on you. In my memory, if it serves me correctly, I think my wife was in the next room nearby. And I think in my head, I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that. So he knew that that was inappropriate. And he admits that that happens in his own words. This one was from Blake. In his words, again, then I had said it. Down the line, I had said it looked hot. And she said, that's not what I was going for. Doesn't really sound like she wanted him to
It's out of sync. Why is it out of sync? Let's keep going.
be attracted to her, and he was shooting her down, does it? Then I made a joke. I said, sexy then? She goes, not that either. And then I immediately paused and I said, I'm sorry, did I just cross a boundary? And then Miss Slate shared what we had talked about earlier. She said, we don't say that anymore. I immediately responded and said, I guess I missed the SH meeting. There's an email from Justin Baldoni in the court document.
So that's him mocking the whole HR thing because he's basically the man in charge of everything. So
Apologizing to the group, especially to Alex, another woman in the court documents that is accusing him of misconduct. Another testimony from another woman. Yeah, when I tried to voice an opinion, he yelled at me. Here's another one of Baldoni's apologies in his emails. I will make sure that doesn't happen again to any of the women involved in this film. I take accountability and you can expect to see a shift in me. But back to the woman who was yelled at. How many times would you estimate that Mr. Baldoni yelled at you?
So again, this isn't just about Blake Lively, which is what I said in the very beginning. Blake Lively put in the complaint for her and the rest of the team. And now the rest of the team are coming forward and talking about it. Let's keep going.
And you can expect to see a shift in me. But back to the woman who was yelled at. How many times would you estimate that Mr. Baldoni yelled at you? I believe it was 3. Here's another one. Then he yelled at me. I don't remember exactly what he said, but something to the effect of, I don't really remember exactly what he said, but he yelled something and then slammed his hands on the director's chair next to me and walked away. And I said, if he did that, something like that one more time, this is the 3rd time, I was going to walk off the movie. It was the first time I felt physically intimidated by him. There's documentations that he invited staff to Russian baths, female staff. Mr. Davis confirms that Justin Baldoni invited cast and crew to Russian baths with him and that it was not appropriate behavior in the workplace. Correct. Here is Exhibit 6, 2 weeks into filming. Gianetti said, I think we need to replace our director. Jamie should not be on set. 2 weeks into filming. Justin Baldoni was kicked off of the previous production right before this called Empire Waste, and there is documentation of it. As a part of my work on Empire Waste, I had repeated negative interactions with Mr. Baldoni and his associates, including verbal abuse by Mr. Baldoni. I asked Wayfair that Mr. Baldoni not be permitted on set during the majority of production as a result of those experiences. How was he kicked off, and how was that documented? This is all conspiracy theory peddled by Blake Lively. Colleen Hoover in court documents saying that I have felt the rift from long before I was in contact with Blake. It started with me not being allowed to read the script until I was sat with readers, and when all the interviews made it seem like you included me in the script from the beginning. There's documentation that Justin Baldoni divulged to Colleen Hoover all of the behind-the-scenes drama, and about this sexy comments. And then Colleen Hoover calls Brandon Skelnar and talks about it. Says that the dinner with Justin Baldoni where he told her this made her uncomfortable. It's one of Justin's problems with one of the female directors. Justin is very dismissive of her when she wanted to direct and then used Jamie to try and manipulate her. Mrs. Hall, another woman, I shared with you that she did not want to be associated with Mr. Baldoni or Wayfair. Yes. Why? She didn't feel respected as a female voice on the team, and on a movie like this, that felt especially bad. Here's where we get to the big one. This is the actual SH claim, which is the birth scene. but we're going to get to that in the next video.
Oh yeah, when he brought his friend onto the scene to do the birthing thing and to be anyway, yeah. That's all relevant because this is about Baldoni in context of the It Ends With Us movie and that team, and also outside of that context. So if you are defending Baldoni in this situation, now bear in mind when you listen to that he is an active male feminist. He's against all abuses of women, right? He did the movie in order to be a voice for victims and targets of abuse, right? So why all of this stuff around it? And could this all be made up by Blake? Not really, because not all of these situations and all of these allegations are coming out as a result of It Ends With Us, because that's the other argument. It's like, oh, they're all friends of Blake's, so they're all kind of sticking together because Blake has more money, which was insane. Because anyway, if you want to know about that power imbalance, go back to my lives. I'm not going to go over that again. But anyway, that was the whole narrative before, right? So please explain how he has been accused in other movies before by other women, not connected to Blake at all. Let's keep going.
Only made uncomfortable.
All right, this guy is against. He's all about Baldoni, and you know I like to keep things a little. Even when I believe what I believe, I like to give space to the other side. So let's hear what he has to say about the situation.
There are 9 women that Justin Baldoni made uncomfortable. That's the new narrative that the Blake bots, the Blake supporters, the coalition of Blake Lives Matter, that's the new narrative that they're running. So let's get into each of these 9 women, and I don't know, you tell me how you feel. The first one is Blake Lively. Obviously, we've gone through her allegations in depth. The second one is Jenny Slate. Jenny Slate's issues with Justin Baldoni. 1, she felt like the set was too huggy. 2, she was bothered that he was interacting with fans because she said that made her feel pressure to interact with fans, and she's a private person. 3, he recorded one of their rehearsals on Zoom, and she didn't like that. 4, he mentioned one time that her black leather pants were sexy, and she didn't like that because she doesn't feel like we should be talking to women like that in 2023. And even though she was given an option to file an HR complaint, she said no because she didn't feel like he was actually hitting on her. And then her final grievance is that Wayfair offered to pay her $15,000 security deposit because she was unhappy with the apartment that she was staying at while filming the movie, and she, I guess, didn't like.
Do you see how we've gone off topic? She said many things about him being a literal fraud, speaking all the words but not following through on his actions, and this guy is minimizing what she said to external things that are not really connected to him that much, or if they are connected, they're smaller versions, like, oh, she was wearing black pants and he called her sexy and she had a thing about that. So he's just trying to spin it as though this woman's just being ridiculous, minimizing the actions, and then everything else he's just talking about other things now, the issues that she had with other people. What are we doing? In the previous video, we heard exactly what her grievances were, and it was none of these things. So he's been put here to minimize the situation, to minimize the voices of these women and make it seem as though they're just ridiculous. But let's keep going. I hope you can see what he's doing here.
They offered to pay for her security deposit because, I don't know, it's against feminism or something. Then we have Isabella Ferrer, who plays the...
Okay, so something about a deposit and money. That's what he's talking about. This is all about breaking down and breaking down the characters. Gosh, let's keep going. You know what I mean. I can't find the words right now. Character assassination, that's what it's about. It's literally a milder character assassination of all the women that are coming forward. Let's listen. Lively case is completely BS, and she is being aided and abetted by mainstream media who are not reporting on the actual court documents and evidence. I've been following this case since last January. So Lively's case, you think Lively's case is BS? Okay. There were people saying that they were following the Amber Heard case as well, and I'm concerned at what they were following, because she said very clearly what he was doing during the case. But let's keep going.
Young version of Blake Lively in A Dance with Us. Even though she wrote Justin Baldoni this glowing text message about what an incredible experience she had with him on set, that has since changed after she spent a lot of time with Blake Lively. And she's now saying that in retrospect, she now feels like because her character was 16 years old and in high school, that like some of the scenes that they had to film were inappropriate, even though they were directly pulled from Colleen Hoover's book, It Ends With Us. The third woman on the list is...
Oh, we know that he was introducing very explicit scenes to the movie that were not connected to the book. So are we going to talk about that? Okay.
Leslie Sloan, Blake Lively's publicist. Why? Because the Blake bots say that Justin Baldoni included her in the lawsuit. So that was obviously what made her uncomfortable, is that she was included in the lawsuit and accused of smearing his name. Claire Ayoub, she worked on another Wayfair film and it appears has never actually met Justin Baldoni, but she called him verbally abusive, but had nothing to back up those claims. Alex Sachs also said that Justin Baldoni yelled at her. No harassment, but verbally abused her. But yet when she was asked in her deposition what he yelled at her about, she couldn't recall. Christy Hall, she has not spoken out directly, but she was a writer on the set of It Ends With Us, and apparently she wanted to be a director on the film. Wayfair told her no, because we hired you as a writer and we already have a director. So I guess she was bothered by that. Colleen Hoover, the author of It Ends With Us, she wanted more creative control on the script. Even though the text messages have showed that she had a lot of influence over this film, she signed over the rights to Justin Baldoni to produce this film, but suddenly she wanted more control over the script, and Blake Lively has since admitted that she was the one that was controlling the script. And lastly, Stephanie Jones, who was Justin Baldoni's former publicist, he fired her and hired 2 other women in her place, and I guess because he fired her and dragged her into this lawsuit, that's how she was harmed in all of this. I don't know. What do you think? Drop a comment below and let me know your thoughts.
I think you're full of crap. I think you're spinning a narrative. Let's hear. Okay, so ain't nobody minimizing anything. Lively turned the cast against him because she was trying to steal the movie. Okay, they also took over the promotional campaign and pissed off all the book fans by not taking domestic violence seriously. Okay, we're going to get into that in a minute. All her charges are trumped up. None of it is true. Okay, so you don't believe that a self-identified corn-addicted person would make up explicit scenes for the purpose of just entertaining himself. You don't think that's possible? You don't think it's possible that a self-identified corn-addicted person could be inappropriate to multiple women on many different sets? You don't think that's possible? You think they're all lying? Like all of them? Is this what we're saying? They're all lying? Trumped up charges because she wanted the movie. Because she wanted the movie. That's your defense. That she wanted the movie. Is this insane to me? Okay, I'm just going to go with, okay, let's put it this way. All right, she wanted the movie. She was this horrible person that wanted the movie. She turned everyone against him because she wanted the movie. Does that disqualify him being capable of sexual harassment? The two things could be true. Both of them could be true. She could have wanted the movie. She could have turned everybody against him. In that scenario, let me just entertain that for a minute. She could have turned everybody against him in that scenario. Does that mean that he didn't sexually harass her and the people on the movie? Does that mean that he also didn't act inappropriately to people on other sets that he was thrown off of? Does that mean that that is also not true because Blake Lively wanted the movie? I'm not connecting. I don't see how that all comes together. That doesn't come together seamlessly for me, or at all for me. But Please keep going. Let me know your thoughts. Tell me how you're connecting these dots. Okay, that's completely untrue. There were way more X scenes in the book than what appears in the movie. They said it was explicit scenes that didn't connect with the movie. They didn't say that there weren't any sex scenes. They said they were explicit scenes. So for you to say it was untrue, you'd have to know what the explicit scenes were and then go read the book and see if they're in the book. You know what I mean? So again, if you read the email from Sony, you can see them begging Baldoni to go back to the R-rate film. Okay? If you read the email from Baldoni to Blake Lively, you can see him admitting to the actual harassment she accused him of. If you go back to my last live, we break it down. You know what I mean? I'm just like, what are we doing here? He literally admitted it.
Blake Lively. Judge Lyman dismissed the suit.
Let's keep going.
Justin Baldoni has already lost his countersuit against Blake Lively. Judge Lyman dismissed the suit in June 2025, and the court determined that Baldoni failed to provide the defense acted with actual malice. But what about Blake Lively? She's accusing SH, a toxic set environment, which we already went over in other videos. But what about the smear campaign? In the court documents, there is literally a list of news outlets and influencers that Justin Baldoni's team has paid. Take a good look. These are in real court documents. We have the Daily Mail, TMZ, CNN, GMA, Variety, E! News, People, THR, and
has paid to do a smear campaign. The smear campaign that Blake Lively accused him of. She said she raised a complaint. She was worried about a smear campaign, and then a smear campaign ensued using the technique of astroturfing. She actually got, what do they call it, when basically she basically insisted for the media outlets, influencers and stuff like that, to provide the emails and communication between between Baldoni and them. A lot of them resisted. One of them was Perez Hilton. His name's on there too. They got the information. They found out. So there is no doubt here that a smear campaign ensued and social media was used to do that. No doubt. So what Blake Lively said, now, whether she was harassed or not, really is irrelevant at this point. Because the point is, she raised a complaint. She said that as a result of the complaint, a smear campaign ensued. Whether she was or wasn't harassed is, I'm not going to say it's not important, because obviously there are people and she's been a target of something like vile and inappropriate and just all the bad things, right? So it's important from that point of view. But in regards to the case, whether she was or wasn't harassed is not even the point. The point is she made a complaint. We know she did. We know she did. We all saw the complaint, whether you agree with it or not. We all saw the complaint. And now we have proof that there was a smear campaign. That is her argument. Whether she was actually harassed or not, is neither here nor there. She is correct about the fact that she made a complaint, and she's correct about the fact that they did a smear campaign as a result of the complaint. Now, I believe she was sexually harassed based on what she said, what other people have said, and their experiences with him too, in and outside of that filming network. I believe her. I mean, how much more information do you want her to provide? You're defending this guy for what reason? Self-proclaimed corn addicted person who has a very, very bad reputation amongst women in general is what you're defending here. But let's keep going. I'm going to come back to your comments in a second. Oh, you're going? Oh, wait. All right, no, let's catch up on what you guys are saying first. Completely untrue. Blake lied. Blake lied. Ends with a story. There were no explicit scenes in the script. She also said she was naked in the birth scene. She was not. No, she said that he wanted to make her naked in the birth scene. But anyway, the point is you're going into the details of it, which is what the masses want you to do in order to get lost in the source. The point is, why would he do a smear campaign against something that was not true in the first place? Why are you paying people like like Depp's team to do a smear campaign over something you never did? Make it make sense. We don't need to go into the details of who was naked in the bath. We're just getting lost in the source. I would like you to answer the question. Why would you start a smear campaign, or anybody out there, not directed at this one person, but why would you start a smear campaign about something that you didn't even do? Why? And pay people to smear her about something you didn't even do, that she was not actually going to talk about. Until you started your smear campaign. Because remember, he did the smear campaign first. Then she filed the complaint because of the smear campaign. Why did you start the smear campaign if it was all in innocence and, everybody just got the wrong end of the stick and, it was all kind of like water under the bridge? Why did you do that? For what reason? Make it make sense. I can't make that make sense. Forget all the other women coming out to talk about his inappropriate behavior. Forget about his wife and their dodgy relationship. Just forget about all of that. Just that alone for me is like, yeah, well, you did something. Why would you sign to confirm that you did do the things that she accused you of if you actually didn't? Anyway, I go into all of that in the other live, so check that out. I'm Awake says, what's in the book and what's in the script are two different things. Exactly. She wanted him to follow the script. Exactly, because obviously you would. And the reason why a intimacy coordinator has been introduced into the film world is to stop things like this happening. To stop people just going wayward and just deciding that they're going to do this thing with this person. And because the female is an actress, she's just got to go along with it. That was the point. So to go and do your own thing is literally against any kind of policy there is within the film Hollywood world, really. After agreeing to no longer ad-libbing. Exactly. It is harassment. Exactly. Just like when they kept on telling him, can you stop making these inappropriate things about being sexy? He just kept on pushing it like these toxic, narcissistic, and abusive people do. Whatever you don't want to happen is what they're going to do more of. It's what they're going to do more of. They don't give a crap what you have to say about it. You can see it in the very small actions. And yet, with the bigger actions, you want me to believe that he didn't do it. Where they do that at? What? That's insane. If he's it is harassment if he's adding additional intimate scenes. It is 100% harassment. There's no way around it. That is what that is. I'm gonna take her off the screen because we can't see the comments that clearly. No, I won't, because I'm gonna lose track. Hopefully you can see that there. Okay, going off this now because you are not informed on the case. And this is frustrating. Okay. All right. Or in translation, going off this now because I don't have a point and I can't argue with you here. So I'm just going to I'm going. Basically is what that is. She was the only one running a smear campaign. That is so funny to me. You literally have it on the screen right there. The list of names of the people. This has got to be a bot. This has got to be a bot. You've got a list of people on the screen right in front of you who were paid by Baldoni's team, who's Johnny Depp's team, by the way, but was paid by them to run a smear campaign. And here she is saying she was no. Let me not point her out and embarrass her. Let's keep going. Okay. As the boss, It is exactly forgetting that let's not forget that he is also the boss of this entire operation. It all ends with him. Okay? Right there. They have no HR team, so there's no one to complain to. So they are complaining to him about him. Of course, he found that highly entertaining. Of course he did. Yeah, we're going to deal with that and mock them in the process. As the boss, the power dynamic, yeah. As a boss, it is his job to make sure everyone is following protocol, including himself. Yeah, and he's supposed to have someone outside of himself making sure that he follows protocol. That's the point. Let's keep going. I agree that he should have put his foot down as a boss. No. We're not making him the feeble little person that couldn't put his foot down and he just, no. We're not doing that. We're not doing that, miss. We're not doing that. He shouldn't have it's not about putting his foot down. It's about not crossing boundaries in the first place. It's about not initiating the mistreatment that he initiated. Let's not say he should have put his foot down. Well, no, you're minimizing the situation. He was very naive. No, he wasn't naive and too trusting. No, he wasn't naive and too trusting. He told them he had a corn addiction so that they could feel the wrath of his mistreatment more directly, more vividly. This is not an accident. These are not accidents. He didn't accidentally run a smear campaign. That's not what are we doing here? Blake and Ryan appear multiple times in the episode. Okay, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that, girl. I got you. In the Epstein files. Okay. Keep spreading that one. We're still doing a smear campaign, clearly. Your time would be better spent investigating that, would it? Thank you for directing me on what I should do with my time. I appreciate it. Let's keep going on with this then.
MIP, Business Insider, Deadline, PUCK, LAT, US Weekly, Dumois, Billy Bush, Candace Owens, and Perez Hilton. This is from the court documents.
Candace Owens that was talking absolute crap about the situation at the time. I think, did I include her in one of my videos? I think I did. She says the most outrageous things. I actually can't. She says the most outrageous things. Let's keep going. So the fact that she was paid does not surprise me at all. You gotta be paid to be spouting that amount of rubbish. Let's keep going.
It's right under the Wayfair party to identify the content creators that they have communicated with. Any individual or entity who seeds, generates, creates, or influences social media content or provides related digital or social media services directly or indirectly at the request of or on behalf of any Wayfair party or their agents or affiliates. Thanks, Katie. Just for clarity, so we understand, does this cover your initial fee and what we discussed in terms of social media mitigation and proactive fan posting to counter the narrative? Or is this in addition to the $15K previously agreed on? Am I already off the record? Spoke to the editor of Daily Mail because she's my friend. She's ready when we are. Daily Mail, right there. And again, his $400 million lawsuit was for defamation and extortion after accusing him of a smear campaign. And that case was dismissed. And just a reminder, it's not Justin versus Blake. It's Justin versus the 10 women that are actually in these court documents. 10 women, including one on Empire Waste, the production before it ends with us. Let me find that document so you actually believe me. Black leather pants, which were designed to, I'm sure, look sexy. Oh, wrong document. That was him in his own words in the court documents, talking about how he called Jenny Slate sexy and how those pants look sexy on you. And if his memory serves him correctly, his wife was in the other room. I said it had looked hot. Oh, wrong document again. This was when he told Blake Lively she looked hot. And she said, that's not what I was going for. And I joked, sexy? She goes, not that either. That doesn't really sound like she was like super attracted to him. It was just like super shot down that he didn't like return the feelings, does it? She was saying we don't
have the narratives that were coming out about her really just being shot down because he didn't want her. Come on, guys. Come on. We need to do better. We need to do better as women. Come on.
Don't say that anymore. I responded and said, I guess I missed this sexual harassment training. Nope, that was just Baldoni's words again. First of all, I want to apologize to the group, especially to Alex. Oh, no, that's just him apologizing in an email for his misconduct. When I tried to voice an opinion, he yelled at me. Oh, no, that's just another woman accusing him of misconduct in a sworn deposition. I will make sure it doesn't happen again to any of the women involved in this film. Oh, no, he's just apologizing again in another email in the court documents. I take complete accountability and you can expect to see a shift in me. Oh, there's another email. How many times would you estimate that Mr. Baldoni yelled at you? I believe it was 3. He yelled something and then slammed his hands on the director's chair next to me and walked away. Ooh. If he did that, something like that to me one more time, then I was going to walk off the movie. It was the first time I felt physically intimidated. At the beginning of prep, Justin was going for Russian baths, and he wanted to bring everyone with him at one point. Do you think that was appropriate? I didn't. I think we need to replace our director. And Jamie should not be on set. Oh no, that was just 2 weeks into production of It Ends With Us. From another female on the production cast. Here it is. As my part of work on Empire Waste, I had repeated negative interactions with Mr. Baldoni and his associates, including verbal abuse by Mr. Baldoni. I asked Wayfair that Mr. Baldoni not be permitted on set during the majority of production as a result of those experiences. And it was set to be released in the fall of 2024. Oh, so that filming was far before It Ends With Us and was documented? But I'm sure it's a conspiracy that all of these mean women are doing to just get this really good guy. Justin was very dismissive of her and wanted to manipulate her. Oh, that was about his female co-director? Mrs. Hall shared, another woman, shared with you that she didn't want to be associated with Mr. Baldoni or Wayfair at all. She didn't feel respected as a female voice on the team, and on a movie like this, it felt really bad. Ooh, were you aware that Melissa and her friends on Mr. Baldoni's team were boasting and joking about how good this article was going to be for Melissa at the time? Seeing the newest TMZ attempt, do we start seeding? He had to hire someone to protect him from the constant attacks and smear campaign by Blake and her team. From Justin's team, let's find out if it's true first. We knew about the 2 complaints from Jenny and Blake with the sexy comment. Did they formally go through HR though? Yep. I talked to Steve last night also. I didn't share about the comments the ladies had feelings about. Didn't want to share anything you hadn't. I shared with him today. He said he should come to sit and remind Blake whose money this is, and I said that's not the best idea. Too much to text. I've hired a crisis management team costing $9 million. Just have to manage every landmine so it doesn't go off. $9 million seems like a lot of money to spend on a PR team, especially in August. And Blake's lawsuit wasn't even filed until December. Yeah, I'm just sure it's all of these mean girls risking their careers, all to conspire against one super good guy who hired a $9 million PR firm and was kicked off with a previous production for verbal abuse.
Come on, guys. We gotta do better. If you're thinking at this point that Baldoni's just this sweet guy that everybody's like, you gotta, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I need you not to get lost in the sauce of the details, because that's what he did. He overwhelmed people with details about this text message, that text message. And as soon as I saw that, like I said, I was like, this is all out of context. What are we doing? I don't even know what we're doing here. What is the average person supposed to do with this information? It's literally ridiculous, right? You're not going to put it together in the right way. That's why he did it like that. To confuse you.
There is no.
All right, let's keep going.
From Justin Baldoni. He was Lively is a liar. Team Justin. Anyways, this is from Justin Baldoni. He was confronted by Ryan Reynolds. Last night was one of the hardest nights of my life. It's hard to describe what happened exactly. The only way to describe it was an ambush. I had no words. I couldn't formulate sentences. My brain was trying to defend itself when they were needing me to apologize for all the ways I have effed up and made her feel unsafe. Do that again. My brain was trying to defend itself when they were needing me to apologize for all of the ways I have effed up and made her feel unsafe. And was talking to me like a 5-year-old and scolding me. He essentially said that Jamie and I are not who we claim to be. And for us to have a podcast is unsafe because it makes people feel like we are safe. This is not a public statement. This is...
Which is true. It is unsafe. They are accurate. Let's keep going.
His own recollection to somebody else taken in as evidence. The word creepy and abuse...
Let's take that back. His own recollection. So nobody's accusing him. This is his words. His mind.
else taken in as evidence. The word creepy and abuse were used in reference to me and my behavior. I was then given the words of what to say and had to apologize, which I was unable to do. I was in shock and basically went into feeling like I was 7 years old again when I got home last night. Jamie did a beautiful job apologizing, but I did not have the words. I was embarrassed for myself, as it all happened in front of the team. It's important to note that no cast members came out in support of Justin Baldoni.
So Jamie did a good job of faking it, but he couldn't.
Not one. This is a very good time to remember. It is not one person accusing him on this lawsuit of SH and verbal abuse. It is all of these women. All of them have evidence in sworn depositions in the actual legal document that no blind misogynist was smart enough to read. That has been available to the public for months and months and months, which is why I have not changed my stance on this. He invites all of them to a Russian bath with him. Do we know what that is? Google it. Justin Baldoni was kicked off his last Wayfarer movie for verbal abuse before this production started. Not only did he walk in on her undressed in her dressing room, came into her dressing room unannounced multiple times, improvised non-scripted sex scenes. He blatantly called Jenny sexy while his wife was in the other room, and he swore to that in a deposition. I have that screenshotted on my last video. He improvised scenes with this girl who's depicting a minor. And the reason why they chose Blake's cut is because, not in the contract, Justin kicked her out of the writing chair. And in Blake's cut, she decided to take Colleen's notes. That is also in the legal documents. There are multiple documents of him in emails apologizing for his self-quoted bad behavior on set. Being an imperfect victim does not make you a liar. Believing one mediocre man, while there are public legal documents available that show him admitting to his own wrongdoing over 9 women on one production, that's a problem. Blake Lively's likability or unlikability has nothing to do with the fact that you brushed by 9 women's word over 1 man's word when there was evidence available to you. If you are still Team Justin, you are an idiot at this point. Blind misogyny. Go read the actual legal documents and get back to me. Mark my words, she will win this case in a landslide. The publicly available legal documents should have already restored her image of not being a liar. I really hope this trial is televised because he's about to get demolished.
He's got to. A equals B equals C. She made a complaint. We all saw it. We saw the complaint. He smeared her. We saw it. She has evidence of them paying these people to smear her. Case closed. End of story. Whether he did or didn't sexually harass her, it's not even part of the discussion when it comes to the legal point of view. It's not even part of the discussion. I mean, I think it's obvious that he did, but it's not even part of the discussion. Let's keep going.
After what I just read in the court, it's over. There is no going back after what I just read in the court docket today. Blake Lively's team just dropped a bomb in the form of evidence, text messages, emails, etc., all proving 100% that Justin Baldoni's team did, in fact, run a PR smear campaign against Blake Lively because they were worried her allegations of sexual harassment against him were going to come out. We're obviously not going to be able to see all of the evidence. That's going to be saved for court in March of 2026. However, we just got a ton in this. Blake's team had to provide evidence as to why they believe there was a PR smear campaign happening, and did they ever? Just a reminder that Justin Baldoni's team is being accused of spoliation, which is basically destroying evidence and not providing documents. They had used Signal Chat, which is this like secret squirrel chat room where you can have things on automatic delete. This is where they were in communication with Jed Wallace, the internet hitman, who was doing all of this stuff behind the scene and got paid $90,000 for doing it. Unfortunately for Jed Wallace and the whole Baldoni team, you can't control everyone. We have third-party people who didn't destroy all their evidence, and they have provided so much. Up first, on July 31st of 2024, before It Ends With Us was even premiered, we have Justin Baldoni's publicist, Jennifer Abel, sending a text message to Mr. Heath, which is Jamie Heath, and another person saying, confidentially, I'm out to dinner with a friend of 12 plus years who writes for People Magazine, Fox News, In Touch, US Weekly, and she is fully briefed of the situation and is armed and ready to take this story of Blake weaponizing feminism to any of her outlets the minute we give her the green light. She hates Blake, has heard this story before, and will do anything for us, just an FYI. 2 days later, on August 2nd, we get Miss Case, who, by the way, we got a lot of this information from. Apparently, she didn't delete everything. She circulates the planning document on how to take down Blake Lively to Justin Baldoni and his whole party, and says in this that she's going to plant a seed earlier on to position Baldoni's truth and narrative, hinting that Baldoni and Blake didn't always agree at times and wanted to plant a story to weaponize feminism and how people in Blake Lively's circle, like Taylor Swift, have been accused of utilizing these tactics to bully into getting what they want. And by the way, these are summing up the emails and text messages. We don't have pictures of them. They've already been submitted, and that's what all these numbers throughout are, is referencing the actual discovery that has already been submitted to the courts. On August 4th of 2024, we see Jennifer Abel, again the publicist, talk about the fact that they are literally feeding Justin Baldoni lines of what they want him to say during press dockets. This is for LUK, where he was being interviewed, and they say, just kicked off the junket. For LUK, he said exactly like what we discussed about navigating complex character, and as a director, managing personalities and the natural friction on set, and how that can create something beautiful, etc. Everybody was talking about this interview when everyone was trying to figure out what was going on It Ends With Us. They were using this interview and being like, did you see what Justin Baldoni said about Blake? There's definitely something going on. On August 6th, there's an internal group chat with TAG. Melissa Nathan, the crisis manager, owns TAG, and Justin Baldoni had hired her. In this one, they're flagging some comments that they liked, and they're saying, the comments are working excellent. And then they further explain that other comments are saying he's traveling with family. So they wanted it to look like Justin Baldoni wasn't bothered by any of this, and he's off traveling. And then Miss Case responds and says, that's all us, LOL. So,
but even in that, it's not a bit of a contradiction. Okay, let's put it into perspective, right? You're a feminist, right? You've made your career out of being a male feminist. You've got your podcast. You're against abuse of any kind and stuff like that. Now you're being accused of sexual harassment, and your response is to go surfing because you're not bothered. It's laughable that people are taking this seriously. It's like, how does that mesh? How is that meshing? I mean, the non-botheredness is classic narcissistic behavior. He's not going to be bothered if he's narcissistic about anything that goes on. And yes, he will be surfing. That's more in alignment with that than someone who is a female, is a male feminist who has been accused of something, because that goes against the very nature of who he is. This guy should be crying, throwing up, and sliding down the wall. Do you know what I mean? This is what should be happening if he's really, obviously he can act that anyway, so he couldn't win either way. But whatever his response was going to be BS. But the fact that they're praising his non-botheredness is funny to me, because that's classic narcissism. Anyway, let's keep going.
This is just proving that they were posting and sending comments on all of these viral videos to lead a narrative a certain way. On August 7th, the crisis management team shares an article that's been posted in The Sun talking about the suspected rift that's happening between Justin and Blake, and they get nervous, and they say this: complete regurgitation of what's circulating online, verbatim usage of Instagram posts and TikToks, which is why social help to quiet and kill this would be so helpful. And then the publicist, Jennifer Abel, responds and says, let's please start having social kill ASAP. So this is them killing any article that is making Justin Baldoni look bad. And not long after, on that same day, they sent out the actual email stating their social media plan of attack, saying that they're going to do it without fingerprints and that they're going to expose the behavior of Blake, both current and past. On August 8th, Justin's publicist flags another video that doesn't look good for Justin, and the team says, we've flagged this to Jed and his team for more serious action on the social side. And then TAG, the crisis management team, says, we'll monitor heavily for any shift in the narrative. On August 9th, we've got the crisis management team taking a screenshot of specific comments that people had left on a video that was calling out Justin Baldoni for being chauvinistic and unprofessional. And the comment is trying to change the narrative to make Justin look good and Blake look bad. And they actually thank Jed for the comment. They say, thank the Lord for Jed.
It's crazy at this point. I just think that you have to be, if you are like defending Baldoni at this point, you've got to be a bot. You've got to be a bot. Let me pick up, I'm going to fast forward to the, what that lady said about, because I think I've got it here. Where is it? That's Taylor Swift in the Texas. I'm going to fast forward to what she said. I think it's this one. Is it this one? Oh, where is it?
Mass delusions. Let's watch a video.
So Blake Lively invited Jeffrey Epstein to a party in 2013.
Let me stop you right there. Cool Mom Jamie, are you good? No, Blake Lively absolutely did not invite Jeffrey Epstein to a party in 2013. You'll notice Cool Mom Jamie did not include the email she is referencing, but don't worry guys, I always come with receipts. So here it is, the email. You'll notice it is from Leslie Groff to Jeffrey Epstein. It includes the invite to the 25th anniversary party for the New York Observer. This is something Leslie forwarded to Epstein. The original author of the email is Peggy. You can see it signed XOXO Peggy. That is Peggy Siegel. Now, these are details that Cool Mom Jamie wouldn't know, but Peggy Siegel was basically Epstein's Hollywood insider. She worked in marketing and would set him up with celeb appearances and meetings. Like, for example, here's her in 2010 suggesting that he invite Paul McCartney to dinner. So this is the person signing the email, but the invite says it is on behalf of the publisher of the New York Observer, who is Jared Kushner, and the CEO, Joseph Mayer. These are the people actually inviting Peggy to invite her clients to this party. And then it includes a list of celebs, basically letting the invitees know that these are the famous and fabulous celebrities that you're going to get to rub shoulders with if you go to this party. And do you know what is hilarious is that Blake Lively didn't even attend this party. Blake's Gossip Girl co-star Kelly Rutherford was there, but as far as I can tell, Blake Lively was not in attendance at this party because of course Blake had nothing to do with actually being a part of this party or hosting it. She had been invited, and the list of celebs in the email was a trick to try and convince rich, powerful businessmen that they should go so they can rub shoulders with the famous and the elite of Hollywood. It was
But wait, there's more.
almost like a marketing trick to try and convince businessmen they should go to this party. And that is why it's so hilarious that people like Cool Mom Jamie fell for this marketing trick. But what else would you expect? Because Cool Mom Jamie and all the Baldoni supporters fell for a PR marketing smear campaign. So it's no surprise that we've ended up here with a delusional Cool Mom Jamie thinking that Blake Lively ever had anything to do with Epstein. She didn't. But do you know who did? The real gag is that Justin Baldoni hired Jeffrey Epstein's publicist, Melissa Nathan, after being warned that Melissa Nathan was bad news and not anyone that Justin would want to be involved with because she is so...
So, Melissa Nathan is Jeffrey Epstein's publicist. Let me get this right. Epstein's publicist. The person, Melissa Nathan, the person who worked on the Johnny Depp case, and the person who worked on this case, which were both smear campaigns of actual victims, was the PR for Jeffrey. We can just pack this up now, right? We can just literally pack this up now. Are we still going for Baldoni? Are we still championing for Baldoni at this point? Let's keep going.
Dark-sided and so dirty and works with abusive men. You don't want to be anywhere near her, but he ignored that. He said Epstein's public...
Hang on, we got to hear this. Let's get it from the beginning.
Then, after being warned that Melissa Nathan was bad news and not anyone that Justin...
Wait, no.
All the Baldoni supporters fell for a PR marketing smear campaign. So it's no surprise that we've ended up here with a delusional Cool Mom Jamie thinking that Blake Lively ever had anything to do with Epstein. She didn't. But do you know who did? The real gag is that Justin Baldoni hired Jeffrey Epstein's publicist, Melissa Nathan, after being warned that Melissa Nathan was bad news and not anyone that Justin would want to be involved with because she is so dark-sided and so dirty and works with abusive men. You don't want to be anywhere near her, but he ignored that. He said Epstein's publicist, that's my girl. This is why it's so funny to see Cool Mom Jamie and other Baldoni defenders try and associate Blake with the Epstein files when she has nothing to do with them. When Justin Baldoni saw Epstein's publicist, he said, that's the girl for me. Anyway, make sure to give me a follow. There are far more delusions from this account that I'm going to break down, so I'll see you guys in the next one.
Okay, let's keep going. So that's the answer to the Blake Lively being involved with Jeffrey Epstein. Oh, here we go. Let's get this one up. So the lady who was saying that Blake was inviting Jeffrey Epstein is now saying Nathan was never Epstein's publicist. Okay, I'll take your word for it. She was copied in an email. She was no more culpable than people who cooked his lunch. Okay, I'll take your word for it. Next, you're only listening to the content that supports Blake Lively. No, actually, I'm not. I listened to the other side as well. I went through the documents, and early stages, you can go through my lives where I went through the documents on both sides, because I do that. I like to see what the other side is saying to see if it makes any kind of sense, which it didn't and still doesn't. Explains everything. Okay, sure. You can keep scrolling then. I also never said Blake invited Epstein anywhere. Okay, no problem. Where was your thing? If I misquoted you, I do apologize. Let me go back to what you said. She smeared red evidence. Where was your thing where you said okay, Blake appears multiple okay, you didn't say invited. Okay, this is what you said. Blake, Ryan, and Ryan appear multiple times in the Epstein files. Your time would be better. Okay, what multiple times was that? Please tell me. I'll investigate. Put it in the comment section. But from what I've seen, she didn't have anything to do with it. And in fact, Justin Baldoni does. But, okay, has a connection in regards to using the same publicist, but you say that it's not the same publicist. Okay, no problem. Let's keep going. Let's go to the Taylor Swift and Blake Lively and the text messages. Let's go over there, because there's a lot of people outraged by the Taylor Swift and Blake Lively text messages. Now, I have not seen or read these text messages. I've seen snippets online, but I have to admit I haven't read them myself. But this woman's going to go through it. She seems to be Team Baldoni, but we're going to go through it with her because she basically is the only one that I found that has all the text messages there. So we're going to go through that, right? Let's start with this lady.
Baldoni ever did to Taylor Swift was try.
All right. So let's talk about the interaction between Baldoni and Taylor Swift to start off with. Let's go there.
The first thing Justin Baldoni ever did to Taylor Swift was try and nag her. This has come out in these new documents that have just been unsealed in the case. Yes, we have text between Taylor and Blake, and one conversation they had really stood out to me. Blake says, the most bonkers part to me is him saying to you, he doesn't know pop culture. It made me more mad than anything he's done to me. So basically what I'm taking away from this is that Justin Baldoni met Taylor Swift and said something like, oh, I don't know pop culture, so I don't know your music. Blake continues, his entire brand is disassembling toxic masculinity. He monetizes it. He does TED Talks, but says that to you.
So that's negging, really, because you're basically saying, oh, I don't know who you are. You don't know who Taylor Swift is. And you're in the industry of, you don't know who Taylor Swift is. Okay. And obviously, this is her best friend, so she's going to be annoyed at him trying to take chunks out of her for any reason, obviously. Let's keep going.
Not only is it so rude, but it's untrue. And Blake's right. Justin may claim he doesn't follow Taylor Swift or know much about pop culture, but he literally name dropped the Eras Tour in promo for his podcast. Blake continues on. The thing that enraged me is you are in an absolute league of your own in being both the most popular artist alive and one of all time, but also the most respected and awarded. Popularity doesn't normally coincide with laurels. In very few cases it does. Steven Spielberg, for example, there's one. Do you think for a moment he would have felt comfortable saying that to him being Steven Spielberg if he had met him, even if he didn't know his work? You would never make a point to say to Steven Spielberg about his work that you don't know it because you don't know pop culture. So basically, Justin Baldoni met Taylor Swift, and instead of just saying, oh my gosh, it's such an honor to meet you, or just any polite thing you might say to meeting someone like Taylor Swift, who is beloved by so many, he just said, I don't know your work because I don't know pop culture. Like, it is such a nag. Blake concludes this thought by saying he just so wants to be in the room but has to act like he doesn't. He being Justin. He's so green, he thinks that's what makes him cool enough to fit in, where in fact, it's effing enthusiasm, fandom and respect for those killing it that shows you're confident in where you are in life. I agree with Blake's estimation that Justin probably tried to neg and put down Taylor Swift when he met her because he is insecure. Why else wouldn't you just say, oh my God, it's great to meet you?
I don't think it's because he's insecure. I think it's because he's toxic and he can't bear to give any woman any credit for anything. So instead of arguing with it, he just pretends he doesn't know who she is to invalidate her in that way. It's kind of like when the toxic forgets your name, calls you another name and stuff like this, like subtle sneak disses.
It's not that hard, even if you don't know someone's work, to be respectful and polite to one of the most successful people in the industry. But Justin was so insecure that he tried to. Very interesting stuff in all these text messages. I've done a huge deep dive on my podcast. Link is where they always are. You do not want to miss all this. And make sure to give me a follow for more pop culture mess.
Right. Now, the text messages, they have been dragged all over the internet for their text message exchange about Baldoni by Baldoni fans. Now, what I've seen, it sounds like but then I haven't seen them all. So we're going to go through it with this lady who puts them up. Let's go.
Swift that are now part of the It Ends With Us lawsuit involving Blake and her co-star director Justin Baldoni. Now, before I get into it, these texts were filed as evidence in the case and made public on January 20th through court dockets shared by legal reporter Anna Bowers on Substack. They're also available on Court Listener, so this is not speculation or gossip. This is what's actually in the legal record. Starting with April 12th, 2023. Blake writes, if you get here with this doofus director of my movie is still here, I'll be ushering him out, but hope he's still here. Can you do me a huge favor? I need help with him. Can you tell him you're excited for the movie, that you read the book, but what you're freaking out over is the pages I sent to you, what a magnetic scene that is, or whatever descriptives you're comfortable with. I'll send you the scene. You don't have to read, of course. It's a quick read. He's a clown and thinks he's a writer now and got this rewrite and told me he appreciates my passion. That's it. So having the greatest living storyteller unknowingly echo to him now how much you love what we're doing, giving him credit as if he wrote them with me, will go such a long way. You dug a movie out of a grave once already for me. And then she sent over the attachment of that scene she wanted Taylor to review. Now Taylor...
Okay, so she wants to give him credit for something he didn't even write, just so that it'll go, so that he will approve it. Is that what she said? Correct me if I'm wrong. That's what I'm getting from it. She's talking with a friend. She's like, oh, yeah, really? Tell him it was great. I did a rewrite of this, but I'm going to give him credit for it. Tell him it was great. Give him credit for it so that he basically goes with that version, is what I'm hearing.
Responds saying, I'll do anything for you. Blake says, I love you, thank you. Text me when you're on your way. I'll have Molly meet you in security and garage. Taylor says, headed your way. I'm on your street. Blake says, see you soon. Sophia headed down now. Now these messages must be after the whole thing with Justin Baldoni happened in the apartment. Blake says, you were so epically heroic today. I recapped every moment to Ryan. I kept remembering stuff. You making shit up about me and lenses and referring to yourself as my doll. This clown falling for all of it, but also resisting it. You are the world's absolute greatest friend ever. I won the lottery. Taylor responds, I won the lottery. You are the coolest person in the world and you like me. And then Blake sends her a gif of Aladdin. And then Blake says, the most bonkers part for me is him saying to you he doesn't know pop culture made me more mad than anything he's done to me. His entire brand is disassembling toxic masculinity. He monetizes it. He does TED Talks, but says that to you. Not only is it so rude, but it's untrue. The thing that enraged me is that you are an absolute league of your own and being both the most popular artist alive and one of all time, but also the most respected and awarded. Popularity doesn't normally coincide with laurels. In very few cases, it does. Steven Spielberg, for example, there's one. Do you think for a moment he would have felt comfortable saying that to him, even if he didn't know his work? You would never make a point to say to Steven Spielberg about his work that you don't know it because you don't know pop culture. It's kind of a crazy thing to be upset about. I've been raging ever since. I
don't think that's a crazy thing to be upset about. He is totally undermining her life's work. And Blake is right. He wouldn't have said that to Steven Spielberg. Would never. Even if he'd never watched a movie of his or didn't know, never. I think that's a really valid thing to be upset about. if your best friend, knowing this guy and what a tool he is, and then he's talking to your best friend like that, who is actually one of the leaders in music. That's ridiculous. I'd be upset by that.
Though I know it all comes from what you said perfectly, he just so wants to be in the room, but has to act like he doesn't. I see it. I understand that it's opposite day with him. He's so green, he thinks that what makes him cool enough to fit in, when in fact, it's fucking enthusiasm, fandom, and respect for those killing it that shows you're confident in where you are in life. And the last text that gets sent out on April 12th, 2023 from Blake Lively reads, I've also been raging at the NYU thing. I honestly want to retroactively take you out to dinner to celebrate that. You deserve to be studied. You are a human masterclass. Fuck yes, they see it. I've been digging up hatchets. I'll stop now. I love you and R and my babies and get more protective about your hearts than mine sometimes. I'm so much less forgiving when it comes to someone messing with someone I love than when someone messes with me. I'm done. I just love you.
I think they have I think they have a sweet relationship, but maybe it gets a little bit more drastic later. From these text messages, I'm like, I like the exchange. I'm for the exchange. Put it like that.
You and I'm so ecstatic for you and grateful for you today. That was stupid fun. This set of texts is from April 23rd, 2024. It's Blake texting Taylor. Taylor does not respond. Blake texts, I finally gotten to get in the edit alone. No, Justin. I'm gonna make this movie great. Successful if it's the last thing I do. They sent me a trailer. I'd love to know what you think. I can change it. I'm just curious your reaction as someone who knows pop culture better than anyone, and also as someone who's read this book. Don't be thrown by your song. They went out on a limb and kept it, which is cheating because it imbues everything with such gravity and quality. I'm torn. Obviously, your feelings decided, but if you were open to it, on one hand, fuck them forever. On the other, I want this movie to work and your song hits a main artery. Song variable aside, would love to know what you think. Please show Trav too, would love his opinion also. And then
it sounds to me like she knew he was a tool. She knew he was a complete hypocrite. She knew that he was going to give some really toxic messages within this movie and use the movie to spew out some really toxic messages, and she wanted to make the movie what it was supposed to be in spite of him being there. That's what it sounds like to me. She did the other edit that Carlene wanted because Justin had done an end edit that basically made the target of the abuse become friends with the abuser, which is a ridiculous end. So if we rewind back, this guy wanted to do a movie about domestic violence because he felt it was a really important thing, and he's a female feminist, but then he writes the end of the movie where he writes the end of the movie in a way in which the victim makes friends with the abuser and tells the abuser that it's okay. And they just skip off into the sunset. That is the ending that he wanted. Okay.
She sends over the trailer. These messages are from April 26, 2024. It's Taylor responding to Blake and Blake responding back to Taylor. Taylor says, oh my God, I just saw the above text and link. Gonna watch now. Oh my God, it's amazing. I'm so sorry I was in a daze and didn't see the first text. Wow, I love how they use the song. Welcome to Hollywood, Justin. And then she sends over some sort of a document. Blake responds, I'm not okay. I can't breathe. I'm obsessed with you. I have never felt more like Khaleesi. I have dragons, except my dragons are bred with Cersei herself. Taylor responds, I'm just picturing you muttering Dracarys, and then I fire off those texts to Austin. By the way, if Justin was strategic, he would be like, no Taylor Swift in the trailer, because that gives you more power over the film. That's your ally, not his. Blake says, get yourself a best friend who thinks like the actual Roman Empire. To which Taylor responds, his misogyny runs so deep he thinks women are incapable of winning chess matches or making long game power plays. To which Blake responds, you are so right and so wickedly smart to call it. He should have run from your music. I never thought about that, but holy shit, how stupid. This was his only shot at having the appearance of an upper hand. The next texts are from May 19th, 2024. Blake texts Taylor,
yeah, she's overthrowing him because he's making a literal mess of this movie. I don't see in a mockery of the abuse victims. I don't see why everyone is in such an outrage about these text messages.
By the way,
I do. They're saying that, oh, she wanted the movie, and that is why she's accused him of sexual abuse, sexual assault, and harassment. Sorry, and all the other things. They're not connected, guys. They're not connected. He was a tool. He was ruining the movie. She was trying to get hold of the movie to kind of get it back on track, and he also did these other things. What's so hard to fathom about that? What is so hard to grasp about that? I'm not
much to tell you. The author Colleen reached out to me because Justin is on an internal smear campaign trying to get his edit through. She was horrified and reached out on her own to talk to me. Turns out he fucking lied.
What?
I never thought about that, but holy shit, how stupid. This was his only shot at having the appearance of an upper hand. The next texts are from May 19th, 2024. Blake texts Taylor, by the way, I have so much to tell you. The author Colleen reached out to me because Justin is on an internal smear campaign trying to get his edit through. She was horrified and reached out on her own to talk to me. Turns out he fucking lied.
So an internal smear campaign. So he wanted to get his edit done, so he went on an internal smear campaign before the external one to protect himself from the sexual harassment complaint.
She's not Baha'i, never has been. She's not friends with him at all. She actually hates him. She was his safety net all along. Meanwhile, he shut her out and wouldn't include her in anything and told her she had no voice or value, yet paraded her around in front of cameras for goodwill and told us all that all his decision he got pushback on were her ideas. Wild. She flew to New York where I screened my cut for the first time yesterday. It killed in the room. Blake.
I'm sorry. How does this make Blake the bad one? I'm not picking that up. Like, how do these text messages make her the bad one? Because she's here talking about how he mistreated Colleen in this whole situation as well. So
continues, Bradley came, he watched it twice. He's been an absolute fucking hero. He's made me feel so good about the cut. Matt and Lucy Damon saw it to give notes and instead just wrote Tom Rothman and tried to push my edit through without a bake-off with Justin, which is also what Colleen is pushing for. It's wild and crazy times. Taylor responds, no one should ever get into a war of wills with you. I am so excited to see it. And Blake says,
okay, so she's not saying, because this is a private text message, right? Between the two of them. So she's, and with her best friend. So she's not saying, I hate Baldoni. That movie should be mine. I'm going to take him for everything. I'm going to make sure that my edit goes through and he just needs to be on this. No, she's talking even in this private conversation about how he is not doing things correctly, mistreating and disrespecting her friends and the author of the book. So even in this, she's talking about his inappropriate and really horrible behavior, even between the two of them. So I'm not understanding how people are not registering that this guy is not a good guy. But instead, it's spun around to make Blake the problem.
anytime if you have free time, I'll send it to you. It's actually a fun watch now.
Okay. Now, quickly, I'm going to go into, because I want to talk about how there's been a shift in tide when it comes to the Amber Heard situation as a result of this. There's been a big shift in tide. Well, not all people have changed their minds, but a lot of people have changed their minds. And I want to talk about that briefly for a second before we sign out. I know we've been on here for a while, but give me a minute to just talk about this situation, and then we'll call it a day. Court of public opinion will have to come at another time, but I wanted to talk about this section.
I fell for the whole misinformation,
because I think it's important that we address it.
She's back.
Like Amber Heard.
Was
coming back.
Some are for, some are against. I want to, you guys let me know your thoughts in the comment section.
This just why people were taking Johnny.
All right, let's start.
Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial, and I think it's still. I fell for the whole misinformation around the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. And I think it's still something that I find so shameful and something I think about a lot. And I would love to dismiss it as just, oh, it was the misinformation and I was so stupid and I was so naive. But I feel like at a deeper level, it's because I truly thought a woman being imperfect, her being a bitch, rude, a mean girl, that is more of a crime than a man being an abuser. And I realize this when I think back to what content stays with me the most. And I think in the Amber Heard trial specifically, it was the video that they did with Amber Heard's assistant, where the assistant speaks, poorly of Amber Heard's character. And absolutely, I think that's the assistant's truth. But why does this specific video take precedent over all the other mounting evidence that showed Johnny Depp was an abuser?
Good question.
And now I think about this Blake Lively case, and it's like there's so much of the same feelings that I remember from the last.
Yeah, because there's so much of the same feelings and so much of the same behavior because they're using the same PR team. It's the same thing happening again with a different person.
I was watching the whole Amber Heard case surfacing again, where it's like the content that stays with me the most is the ones that speak badly of Blake Lively's character. And specifically, it's that where that journalist is pointing out Blake Lively's baby bump and, commenting about and then Blake Lively kind of has a snarky comment back. And once again, that can totally be this journalist's truth. But why is this video taking precedent again over so much evidence that Justin Baldoni harasses women? There's a whole group of women on the set of It Ends With Us who have spoken out against him. There's evidence that shows he's spending millions of dollars on a PR campaign to smear Blake Lively. There's so much evidence that's out there, yet there's this one video that speaks badly of her character that stayed with me the most.
Well, it's not just one, that stays with her the most. Okay, fair. I was going to say there's not just one video of Blake reflected in a bad way. There are plenty, but none of those are all irrelevant. Blake Lively said she made a complaint and he started a smear campaign. She proved both of those points. So I don't understand why her being a bad person is even a factor in the conversation. He did what she said he did. Let's keep going.
And I think it's because there's so much conditioning. We're told, like, women, you're not to be perfect. You should be upset when you see another woman behaving like that because we are never allowed to behave like that. And I see a lot of my friends, very smart, intelligent women, they'll be like, can you believe, Blake Lively's referencing herself like Khaleesi? Isn't that so cringe? But it's like, why are you not as triggered by the fact that Justin Baldoni is walking into these women's trailers while they're undressing? Or saying lewd comments to them, calling them sexy, like, when that's totally inappropriate in a work setting, And I think it's because fundamentally we want our victims to be perfect. We want women to be perfect. But remember, a perfect victim is a dead victim.
Key. Very well said. I'm Awake says, what an insightful reflection. This is how misogyny conditions all of us to give men the benefit of the doubt. Always. Exactly. It's like how we all know someone who has been raped, but don't know any rapists. Exactly. It's the same thing. Exactly. This is why I wanted to talk about this part, because I think it's important that we reflect on how this came to be. It's the same pattern. Let's keep going.
Documentary. It was just screened at the 2020.
All right.
Amber
so
Heard
about the Sundance Festival and the new documentary Silence. I haven't got to watch it yet because I can't get access to it. I'm in the UK. I can't get access to it. But let's keep going.
She's back with a new Amber Heard. She's back with a new documentary. It was just screened at the 2026 Sundance Film Festival, and it's called Silenced. Because she was silenced, and it's about time we have Amber Heard tell her story. Amber Heard doesn't feel heard, so now it's her time to tell her story. And Amber Heard says, "This is not about me. I've lost my ability to speak. I'm not here to tell my story. I don't want to tell my story. In fact, I don't want to use my voice anymore. That's the problem." No, my love, the problem is that you did tell your story, right? You told it. Far and wide. You wrote about it, right? And we believed you. We believed you, right? You see, when a woman comes out and says that she was abused, our natural instinct wasn't to shame her, right? It wasn't to pick apart her story, culturally, especially off the heels of Me Too, Time's Up, exposing creeps like Harvey Weinstein. Our innate reaction was to take the words seriously, take these words with weight, right? Not with a grain of salt, but with weight. We trusted you.
Okay.
You had profiles and floods of positive press. The media and Hollywood backed you up. Disney fired Johnny Depp. You had it. You had it all. You had us all. You were killing.
So what happened?
It. And everybody was eating up your story in support of you. Okay. That's the part of the story you seem to forget. And then the truth came out. And we found out that you lied. You lied to us. And that's hard to come back from because we believed.
What did she lie about again? Somebody remind me what she lied about. What did she lie about?
You. We wanted.
Because as far as I can see, Johnny Depp just proved that she was not a good person and didn't donate to charity. So again, it's the same thing, same spin. She's not a nice person. Can't trust her because she said that she donated when actually she just pledged. She didn't actually donate. So I didn't grape her because she didn't donate to charity and she said that she did. I'm sorry, where was the gotcha moment again? Where was the gotcha moment? Because I remember watching the case and being gobsmacked at how people were being manipulated by him. He was getting caught out in his own lives left, right, and center. But the media weren't covering it. I did a video about it. I'm going to put the links to all of the videos I've done about that in the description box as well. So you can go and reflect on what has already been covered by me in regards to this. Because it makes what he's saying literally just laughable. Laughable. Let's keep going.
To believe you. And so it's not that you were silenced because the world hates women. And, it's because you're no longer trustworthy. That's the reality.
Because she didn't donate to charity. Oh, because she hit him back. Like, it's crazy. It is crazy. She has audios accusing him of beating the crap out of her, where he doesn't argue with her about it. He doesn't deny it at all. He just changes the subject in the conversation. But for some reason, people are like, oh, Johnny Depp never laid a hand on her. No. She did all of it. She was the abuser. It's crazy to me, the way in which media has a hold on people and just manipulates them in this way. It's crazy, the lack of critical thinking that goes on in these situations. It's crazy to me. Even if you're not a specialist, okay, I'm a specialist. I can see things like this very easily anyway. But even if you're not, he is getting caught up. I mean, there are people who watch my videos who were arguing with my videos about it when I was breaking down blow for blow how he was manipulating, where he was being caught out, and they were still arguing. And I'm just like, where are you? This is worrying to me. Same team as the people that are working with Baldoni now. The same team. Let's keep going.
Words lost weight. And in return, you lost your credibility. And then ultimately ended up hurting a lot more women in the process. That's why the world is upset with you. Because of what you did. Not just in your deception and the way you lied to them.
Okay, so the bit where, because remember, toxic, narcissistic, and abusive people will try to ruin you, right? So the bit where she's in court, everyone who watched the case would have seen this, right? Where she is in court under oath saying that Johnny Depp was going to ruin her if she left him, threatened it. She's got it on audio as well. So it's not just her words. She got him on audio saying the exact same thing. And we are watching in real time him do the worst smear campaign you have ever seen in your life. And everybody is getting on board, even though she sat in the booth telling you this is what he said he's going to do, whilst he's actively doing it. And everybody just ran with it. Crazy to me. Crazy to me. But let's keep going.
And distorted the truth, but in the real harm that you caused so many other women through your own sense of narcissistic entitlement. You were exposed as a fraud.
It's maddening.
That's what happened. The world isn't just silencing you because we hate women. I don't even hate you, Amber Heard. I really don't. I'm just disappointed that women like you exist. You set the stage for people like Blake Lively to now come forth and push forth her own allegations and argue that there was a power imbalance when all the evidence coming out is now showing.
Okay. So Blake Lively's doing the same thing as Amber Heard, and Amber Heard's disgusting, according to this guy. And it's like no one actually watched the trial, because this is the information I got from the trial. So I'm just like, what are you guys watching? What are you watching to come up with these conclusions? What are you watching? Insane to me. So when the documentary came out, the other one that details the way in which his team paid people to do a smear campaign, this is the first time I actually came to the understanding, because when I did the video about Johnny Depp and that, I was kind of like, I was not aware of the stuff that happens behind the scenes when it comes to the media. So I was genuinely confused at how we are seeing this on the screen in court, but then this is being reported in the media. I was genuinely confused, right? That was naive me many years ago, right? Genuinely confused, like, huh? But they said this, and then I'm being gaslit with all of this stuff coming through TikTok and YouTube and stuff that says complete opposite. He's been caught out in court, and then nobody's acknowledging it. It was crazy to watch. So yeah, I'm a bit more used to it now. But yeah, then I'm going to put the link to the video where I basically talk about it from the naive point of view, where I can't connect the dots between what I now know as astroturfing and the stuff that they do behind the scenes, but seeing it in real time, but not having the words for it. That's what happened in that video that I did, breaking it down. Guys, give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section.
The exact opposite.
Let's keep going.
Blake Lively are the reason why real victims won't be believed. Absolutely not. Need to learn about misinformation campaigns. Women like Amber Heard and Blake Lively are the reason why real victims won't be believed. Absolutely not. Need to learn about misinformation campaigns. The reason why real victims won't be believed is because of the perpetrators. It is because of men like Depp. It is because the men like Baldoni. Also, keep in mind they're hiring the same PR firm, and we know. We have so much data and evidence to say that there was a smear campaign against Amber Heard all of those years ago, and that we have evidence now to say that some influencers who were considered online journalists at the time were given edited information early, that they primed how we felt about the Amber Heard case. The same thing's happening with Blake Lively. Now all the evidence is coming out. I'm an idiot. Like, I used to believe Johnny Depp, or I was one of the people that used to say, oh, they were both bad, and, you know, honestly, cop out, not true. And I'm learning, and if you were like me and consider yourself a feminist, or if you care about another human in any way, it all fucking matters. What's happening in the US right now, what's happening in the rest of the world, misinformation campaigns, we're all susceptible to it no matter what side of politics you're on, and we all have to get smart about it. Me again, if you really want to learn about this, Who Trolled Amber is a great podcast to start with. It's what I'm starting with to deepen my knowledge on this topic. Really recommend that you all listen to it because it's eye-opening. And all I can say is that I'm sorry, Amber.
Go also watch the Heard versus Depp documentary on Netflix, where they literally break down how he got circulated the misinformation and how he manipulated the media. They literally break it down. I think it came out about 2 years or a year after, no, about 2 years after the case and everything. It was very quiet. Nobody really promoted it. Nobody wanted to hear about it. But if you watch it, you'll get a better understanding of how it came about. It's basically the same thing that Blake's talking about now.
Heard's side right from the very beginning. As somebody who was on Amber Heard's side right from the very beginning, I see a lot of comments of people that were on the Amber Heard hate train going, I feel so bad and like now I know better. And I just want to say, like, I don't know if this is controversial, but I don't forgive those people. We were on the same internet with the access to the same resources, and I managed to find out what was going on. And instead, you willingly participated in the abuse of a woman by her ex-husband. And I can't forgive you, and I won't. And I don't see why I should. I've never seen any actual change of behavior. I've never seen any recognition that...
That's the part for me. It's not the part where people were fooled and manipulated and stuff like that, because easily, Dan, that happens, right? You know, you believe and trust in the media and all that stuff. But now that you can see that this is going on and people are saying that's going on, you're not changing your behavior. You're just going from, like, they destroyed Amber Heard. They destroyed her career. I mean, they helped. Johnny Depp did it. That's what he said he was going to do. He said he was going to destroy her career. He was going to destroy everything around her life. And he did. And he used the general public to do it. They were the flying monkeys, right? So that, I'm like, and that's another reason why I will never shut up about it. Because if we can't get to understand that that is what happened, we are going to keep repeating that. We are going to be flying monkeys for other abusers to abuse their targets on social media, fame, with celebrities and everything. We are going to remain to be, as Adolf Hitler called it, useful idiots. The people that he could manipulate. As far as Hitler was concerned, you're an idiot, but you're useful because you will take in the indoctrination and you will do my bidding for me. That is what we will remain to be if we do not grasp and get our critical thinking skills up to par when it comes to this form of manipulation. Because we annihilated that woman and her life. Death threats on her children. The woman left the United States and went to Spain to live out the rest of her days as a result of what the public did. So we don't get to just go, okay, oh yeah, we're not changing things, because look at what is happening with Blake. The literal same thing, with less intensity, because we don't have the cameras in the court case or things like that. So less intensity, but we're doing the same thing. We're dogpiling on her. We're dragging her. We're doing the same thing.
These smear campaigns happen to other women. I've just seen, wow, I was so misguided. Yeah, you should feel bad about that for the rest of your life.
Let's keep going.
Sundance documentary talking about being silent. Amber Heard coming back in that Sundance documentary talking about being silenced and experiencing a smear campaign makes me so fucking devastated, because you guys still haven't learned your fucking lesson. Like the fact that the same thing is happening with Blake Lively and Taylor Swift, and like, you guys just don't learn. You don't learn. And it's so frustrating because it takes like 10 plus years for people to be like, oh, we owe this woman an apology after we completely obliterated her fucking life over shit that literally was not true.
That it's crazy to me. Let's keep going.
In the sense of they knew who. I low-key think that this Justin Baldoni versus Blake Lively situation is almost worse than Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, because at least with that situation, I could partially understand why people were taking Johnny Depp's side, in the sense of they knew who he was and were overextending a parasocial relationship and whatever the fuck because of, you know, his years working in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, etc., etc. And also the fact that after people started reading the court documents, we're like, oh my God, look at all the evidence that was already out the first time, and then start changing their minds and realizing that he had been lying and that you guys fell for misogyny. With this situation, it's like no matter what comes out of these court documents, y'all are intent to thinking that him being called a bitch by Taylor Swift is worse than sexual harassment. Like, the amount of evidence that keeps proving that all of these women on set, not just Blake, but also Isabella, who played the younger character of Lily, Jenny Slate, all of them were grossed out by shit that he did. All of them did not like him. His former podcast hosts did not like him. People who worked for him said that he was making inappropriate.
His former podcast host quit and said she didn't want to work with him anymore because of his behavior, because of how he is.
Comments. Her driver has now, we see the deposition, and he, backs up Blake, where she said that the driver was uncomfortable by something that Justin said, and that Justin said that he had previously forced himself on women, and the driver validates that. Text messages with Taylor Swift, where Taylor Swift's like, "Oh my God, he's a bitch."
I've got a woman who's talking about that in the court of public opinion, which we don't have time to go into. But one thing that I want to point out that she said was, no, the fact that Baldoni said that, sorry, I can't speak, so I've got to take this out of my mouth. The fact that Baldoni said that he has had questionable consent situations with women doesn't track what a abuser would do, like a narcissist would do, or a general abuser would do in that situation. They would usually deny it. And to that I say, pause, lady, pause. Because actually, this type of narcissistic type would absolutely admit it. Because he wants to, again, it's sadistic. He wants her to know, oh, yeah, we've done, but he's going to do it in the victim way. He's going to do it. It's like, I just didn't realize, because of course they've got to play dumb whilst they're confessing, right? So you give them some sort of grace, but the confession is the point, right? To say that, oh, he's done that before. Why are you giving her that information? It just falls very much in line with the whole corn addiction confession. Why do you feel the need to say that? That you have essentially raped people before? What would, in what way is that appropriate to hear from your boss who is actually harassing you? In what way is that not seen as a threat? Heard by someone who is constantly pushing boundaries with you and is your boss. In what way is that not perceived as a threat? I can't speak, but I hope you're getting what I'm putting down. If someone says to you that has been harassing you this entire time, pushing boundaries regardless of what you say, you've made complaints and they've gone absolutely nowhere, and then they get in a car with you and confess that they have actually raped people before, how do you not see that as a threat in that situation? Let's put it all into context, because that is essentially what happened. It's very sadistic. That's essentially what he did in that car with Blake, who is married. Let's put our thinking caps on, ladies. Let's put our thinking caps on. Let's keep going.
You'd be like, oh my God, how could Taylor say that? How could he sexually harass people? Y'all do not seem to get that you guys are mad at Blake Lively for what you interpret as taking over a movie, and everyone else is looking at the real issue and the real crime, which is sexual harassment. These are not the same thing. Like, y'all cannot grasp that. These are not the same thing. Even if you think that she took over the movie, it's like, okay, so she deserves to be sexually harassed? Is that what you, like, what are we talking about?
Or even if we take the sexual harassment out of it, because I've said many times, whether she was or wasn't sexually harassed is, in regards to the case, neither here nor there. She put in a complaint, he smeared her name. Proof. What are we doing? The fact that her best friend called him a itch, you know what I'm trying to say? We're dragging her for that after what he did to Blake. Proven did. She put in a complaint. He started a smear campaign to try and ruin her. Now, there was another thing that I was going to say in the court of public opinion, where the media are talking about how nobody wants to hire Blake anymore, and it's because she's difficult and she did this and she did that, and it's all basically Baldoni supporting centered, right? And I'm like, is that right? Because she took over the movie and all of these narratives. And I'm sat there thinking, is that why? Is that why they're not hiring her? Or is it because sexual harassment is very common within the film industry and they don't want the smoke? because she's already aired out someone already. Which one of those is most likely? Which one of those do you think is most likely? Do you think they're just not hiring her because, you know, she took over the movie and they're scared? Or do you think it's because it's rife out in the industry, which people have already said? As soon as Blake started talking about it, other people have come out in the industry to talk about how common it is within the film industry for this to occur, within Hollywood for this to occur. So let's put our thinking caps on and think about what is most likely in that situation for why she's not being hired. Let's keep going.
Right now. What, like, some of y'all just are so intent to not get it. I can't.
Yeah.
This is like, honestly, like, worse. This is crazy. And I just don't even understand this, like, allegiance to this man. All y'all could not have been Jane the Virgin stans. No. So weird. So weird.
Well, it's manipulation. Anyway, that's all I got for you today. In fact, I got a lot on the court of public opinion, but we do not have time. I have got to go. I hope you enjoyed this. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell so you get a notification every time I go live. Next week, we're going to be talking about Blueface and his triangulation, how that's going about. And we're also going to talk about Jay-Z and his name being brought up because some things have happened since, and we got to talk about it all. Anyway, until next time, live boldly, live empowered. Oh, yeah. Thank you guys for staying with me all of this time. And until next time, live boldly, live empowered, live from the inside out. Bye for now.
It was love and all the above, but you want to suffer. Trauma recovery. Yeah, trauma recovery. Toxic recovery. Trauma recovery. Toxic recovery. Toxic recovery. Toxic recovery.